might be controversial. I don't know. It's up to y'all. First of all, before we start, happy Father's Day to all the undead beats, to all the dudes taking care of their kids and their seeds. Shout out to y'all. I'm wearing the exclusive, Father's Day hat. So, shout out to y'all. So without further ado, I'm gonna bring in my guest into the room with Anthony and Magic. What's going on, guys?
What's up? What's up?
What up? What up? What up? What up? What up? What's up? What's up? Oh, you got this tropical theme going on. What's going on?
Like we in the islands or some shit. You know what I'm saying?
Word. I'm like, God damn. I feel played off. Like, you know what I mean? Played out. Like, God damn. I feel like I gotta get down. I gotta compete. You know what I'm saying?
No, but yeah, I love this topic. Hey,
all right. Shout out to everybody. Me and my mansion. You heard? No, I'm just playing. I'm playing. Nah, what's going on, guys? What's up?
Chilling.
This topic to talk about. So we talk
about. First of all, before I even say anything, guys, go to Magic Mulata's either her TikTok or her YouTube. Yo, Magic, what was going? Yo, I'm not trying to say anything, but yesterday I kind of felt like I became the villain. I don't know, like.
With the blackness, and they hit you with the you must hate blackness and all of that. Like
I said, but I'm like speaking the truth though. I'm speaking on not only the truth, but I'm speaking on my experience, and certain biracial people go through the same thing. You know what I'm saying? And you seem like
biracial. Oh, you must be anti-black. You must hate yourself. So we get hit with the same thing. But we're gonna talk about that. I got a lot to say about all that.
Yeah. Let me just pause the music right quick. But yeah, I want to do a small recap on the reason why we're doing this live, and the reason why we're doing this live is because Magic sent me a video, right? Basically speaking about whiteness and how historically it came from Spain and all this other stuff, and how Latinos pretty much historically got put onto that, you know what I'm saying? And I found a lot of connections with the mixed community and with Latinos when it comes to this country, when we have to pick a box. And it became very, very, very evident last night on Magic Mulata's TikTok. It became very evident on how everybody either wanted to choose a box or they were fighting for what box they should be a part of or whatever the case is. You know what I'm saying? So I want to start with Magic. What do you got to say about that?
So here's my opinion about all of that. So you know how we've collaborated before, and I've learned a lot of history about like the history of like race mixing in Latin America versus the history of race mixing here. So I think it's very important for Latin people to understand the history of mixed race people here, how our identity got erased. And that's why they are forced to have to pick a box, because that's what happened to us in America. So it's like, you know, how our categories got erased, our identities got erased. And so they try to do the same to Latino, because people don't realize, like, we're invisible. Like mixed people, we're not supposed to exist in America because of 300 years of anti-miscegenation laws, right? So the results of that is that, you know, your guys' mixed race identity is completely invisible to either white or black. So it's like y'all got to pick a box because nobody really understands that y'all are mixed. Just like we're not supposed to be mixed. We're supposed to be white or black. So it's like that's the reality of what's going on because of the history here in America and how, you know, the binary racial system, how it fucks up all of us mixed people. And we're not really supposed to exist here in America versus in Latin America, where there was never any anti-miscegenation laws over there. So it's normalized over there, but over here it's not. That's why they put the same pressure they put on Latino people to pick a box or pick black or white, the same pressure that we get put on to pick a box, pick black or white. And it's stressful, it's annoying, and it's like a long way to go. And so that like being mixed race is normalized, and that it's no longer something that's taboo or strange or weird. Like us, we're fighting for our identity right now. We're saying, hey, you know, we're biracial, we're mixed. You've seen that firsthand, how much pushback we get on it. We get hit with, oh, you know, race is real. It's not real. You're all human beings, you know, like I've never seen that in like pro-black spaces where people try to say, oh, but race is not real. It's not a real thing. But it's like anytime we try to identify as biracial, that's co-signing with white supremacy and all this nonsense. And like, it's a lot to pack. So
Yeah,
it's
I
like
want to give a huge shout out to Georgia for the 199. So the world tends to sadly think binary terms. I believe he meant to say in binary terms or on binary terms. But yeah, you're right. And I think
yeah.
I think doesn't that prove the point where now what Roy Chess is saying? There's no mixed race. There are only four
Exactly.
races by definition in biology.
I feel like that's a way
Yeah,
to dismiss our identity. Though. Like,
yeah,
oh, there's no race, there's no race. When I say I'm biracial, but nobody ever says that to anybody else. They only say it to us to try to erase like
yeah.
it's erasure.
Now,
When
yeah.
it
Now
isn't, you know.
I want to move on to Anthony. Anthony, do you feel the same thing? Do you feel like you've been excluded or included in certain things on what to identify as? Did you feel like you had to choose a box?
Well, yeah, there's been several situations like in my life where it's like they force you to choose. Like here, if you get your pistol permit and you go buy anybody who's ever bought, I don't know if they do this in every state actually, but over here, when you go to like a store to buy like a firearm, they'll have you like fill out this paperwork and put your race, and they make you pick one. You don't get to just put both, two or more. They're like, which one do you identify? And that's
Oh,
been,
it's even worse with Latinos. It's even
yeah.
worse. You want to know why? Because down in Florida, I believe down in Florida, if you're Latino, says it on the card. If you're Latino, you have to pick white. So even
Oh,
if you're
okay.
dark skin or whatever, you have to pick white, and that gets
Oh,
recorded into the NRA system or whatever the case is. So yeah, but
Oh,
continue.
okay.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. In several situations, like I think I told you, I think last night, where certain colleges, like I've been to a couple colleges, and they have the little race thing, and there's certain situations where they will ask you, like, okay, like this is just the other day, they're asking me, okay, here's a whole bunch of boxes, pick what you are, but then at the bottom it says you basically have to pick one of those. So like if I put three, for example, they're like, okay, pick one. You see what I'm saying? So if you put, let's say, for example, white, black, Native American, they're like, okay, well, pick one of those. So it's like you could select the boxes, but they want you to identify as one thing. So this has definitely been going on for a while. I think there's a lot of reasons why, like, definitely a lot of the stuff that Magic was saying, I agree with. I agree with actually everything she's saying, but I want to add something to that. I think also that has to do with America's identity in general. It's like Europeans, white Europeans, they're not completely disconnected from Europe, and they don't want to be. You know what I mean? They still kind of want to be connected to Europe, but then in a way, it's like Europe is kind of looking down on the Americas, like you guys are not really like us, but they, you know what I'm saying? They want to keep maintain that connection. So then it's like very sensitive when they're like, Europe is looking over here, like, okay, but I see what you guys are doing. You've made tens of millions of mixed people. You're not really European like us. You're kind of dirty at this point. You know what I mean? They're kind of looking at, that's how I see it. They're
Now
looking
let me.
down on America.
Now I want
Yeah.
to add something to it too. This is something I said last night on Magic's live that I felt like it kind of ruffled a couple of feathers though. But I said that not only do you have to identify as black for certain people, but you also have to fit the mold. So you have to, think the same, vote the same, act the same, and not everybody's going to do that. So whenever someone does identify as black, right, and they don't talk the same, move the same, act the same, or whatever the case is, they're called a coon, a Uncle Tom, so on and so forth. So have you guys seen that gatekeeping, like that? Okay, if you're here, you have to do X, Y, and Z. If not, then you're out of here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's all about power. That's why so many people get offended when we identify as biracial because it's like, oh, you're taking power away from us because you're taking numbers away from us. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's all about these certain communities trying to gain power and trying to force us to comply so they feel like they're doing. So we have to be forced to always like submit to their agenda. You know what I'm saying? Doing what's best for them. So it's like we can't really think about ourselves. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to take our power and be like, hey, some of these agendas I don't agree with. It doesn't benefit me. So it's like, we got to start putting ourselves first. We've been doing this for so long. If you look at the history of like mixed race people in America, we've always been put in the black community first. Always been fighting for rights, and we get no respect for it whatsoever. Like no respect. So that's why it's like we're trying to take back our power and just be like, okay, let's just put ourselves first. What if we put in the same amount of work to build our community? So we do. So we don't just put in all this work just to be disrespected, just to be put down, just, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, but like you said, it is like a mindset, you know what I'm saying? Like we all got to think the same. It's like group think, you know what I'm saying? But
of course,
it's about power.
I've also I went into some groups and some little things on Twitter where they said, you know, biracial people never did anything for the black community, and the only one that I could think of is Malcolm X. I'm like, Malcolm X was biracial, and I think he did a lot for the black community to the point where he had to die because of it. You know what I'm saying? So,
race.
But let me touch on that. Let me touch on that.
Yeah, go ahead. Touch on that.
So with the coon topic, like I just played a video last night of Umar basically saying, okay, if you're biracial, multiracial, whatever, I include you as a full-blooded African. If you're loyal, if you do this, if you identify, but you notice they never do that to people like Clarence Thomas out there in South Carolina. No, not South Carolina. Yeah, I think he actually is from South Carolina, the Supreme Court Justice. They never do that to him. They don't do it to that Sheriff Clark guy. They don't do it to what's called James Clyburn, is it? I think he's a congressman.
So in other words, you're saying like they don't do it to their own. Like
they don't do it to people who have two black parents.
Yeah, okay.
They don't say, okay, they'll call them a coon and all these names, but they're never gonna say they're not black, right? So when it comes to mixed people, it's like, yeah, you can be part of us, but you have to, you know, like you said, fit the mold of what we want you to be. And if you step outside that, at least in our case, it's like, okay, well, you're not even black. Like Obama was black for let's say 7 years, and just about that 8 year when he 8 years, he was black for 8 years.
And then when he didn't do nothing for nobody, that's when he was like, he's not a black. Yeah, I get you.
That's when he became. Oh no, he's the first biracial president.
Magic, what you got to say about that?
It's like people are always trying to criticize us, jump in and out of blackness whenever it's convenient for you. But the reality is we get pushed in and out of blackness whenever it's convenient for the community. So it's like, that's the reality of it. So, and it's like not in control of that, but we're trying to take control and take power back of our own identity. Like these are, like somebody said in the comments, your race is made up by DNA, genetics, right? Because so many people try to be like, oh, if you look black, then you're black. But it's like, that's not the reality. The reality is that, you know, biracial people come in so many different colors, and we just want to claim all our people and just be like, hey, this person's biracial. They may look a certain way to you, but in the fact of the reality is that they are biracial. They are mixed race. So people always want to like move the goalpost of what blackness is. You know what I'm saying? Like blackness will be one thing one day, then the next day it'll be another thing, and it's like it's exhausting. Like I don't want to play them games.
Now, I want to give it. I want to give a huge shout out to the 18th letter for the 499. He said, mixed people have always been in every aspect of black culture. If mixed people want power, you must go at the ones who created the system, not blacks. Okay, but let's be also honest. Blacks are upholding that too, because blacks are the ones who are gatekeeping. You never hear white folks talking about you're not black. You know what I'm saying? Certain white folks be like, yo, you're not white, you know, but it's always black Americans who are gatekeeping that, and black Americans who are putting that pedestal to the well, you got to do this and this and this and this. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, Radical, I never heard a white person tell me I wasn't white. You know what I'm saying? Never in my life. Like if I meet someone, they ask me what I am, and I say, okay, I'm part of Thailand. They never say you ain't you know, they never say that. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm like, but when it comes to the black community, it's like, yeah, they don't do that. They don't say, oh no, you're not. Like Black America does do that.
Honestly, what I've seen on those TikTok lives, white people be going in there like, oh, you're trying to start, like, if we are trying to start our community and have our spaces, white people come in there and be like, oh, you're trying to segregate more. You're trying to add more division. You're trying to They don't want us to have a community as well, but they don't really care if we identify as biracial, but we just can't have anything for ourselves. That's what white people, they try to push back on us. We're like an unwanted source.
Let me just read this real quick. LA Thorne, shout out to him. He says, I'm Irish Italian on both sides, Cherokee on my father's side, Haitian British, and Shanquant Odile Indian, which is from Long Island, New York, on my mother's side. What would you call me, Hans? Why I believe Amber Indian, that's what he believes to say. What would you call him? I say that you're mixed, right? Wouldn't that just go down with it? Just that you're mixed? What you guys think?
I mean, I don't know who that is, so it's hard to say. Like, I mean, what if he's 1% Native American? You know what I'm saying? And like, I mean,
But doesn't that go? But doesn't also that go with the whole Black American thing when Black Americans talking about you mix people this and this and this, but then they're mixed themselves with like 24%.
I feel like that's another way to erase our
Yeah.
identity. There's so many different ways that people try to erase our identity. Like we gotta realize like our identity is continuously being erased. So it's like when people try to be like, oh, I'm mixed, even though I'm like 1% this or you know what I'm saying? It's like that's there's a difference between admixture and being mixed. Like we all have admixture, all humans and around forever, but there's a difference between being like a truly like a mixed race person or being like we try to come up with terms like being Euro African or mulatto or like having those specific terms and specific ancestry that is like our ancestry comes from Africa and Europe. Like that's what makes us mixed, you know, as a Euro African person. So it's like I don't know. I just don't want my our identities being erased anymore. Like that's something that we all got to push back on because that affects the Latino community as well because your identities are being erased as well. So it's like we all
I talk about it. I talk about it every day. I talk about how we're being forced to identify as white, to be white, even in the prison system. Certain I even played a certain COs.
Their identity being erased because I was going to talk about that because I looked up like the Latino stats, like the census, and it's like 58% of them. I was going to ask about that, but you already answered my question. It's like it's being forced upon you. So it's like y'all are being forced.
Yeah, let me. I like to bring this this part up. Let me just show some proof because that's what I like to do. So this is part of the U.S. immigration form when you have to fill it out, right? So if you see race, can you guys see that? It says race, check 1. Look where it says Caucasian and Latino. They're in the same box. Wow. You guys see that? Caucasian and Latino. That's in the wow. That's in the same exactly. That's in the that's
it's a numbers game, right? They're trying
exactly.
To add, you know, so they're trying to take numbers like from the Latino community and try to add it to like, oh, we're a bigger population than what we are really, so they could stay in power. It's a power game, like I said. That's all. Numbers is power,
that's in the same box as well as I even let me just play this a little bit because I played this a while back. I played this a while back. Let me see if this is it or not. Hold up, wait. I think this is it. Yeah, I played this a while back, and this shows how officers are even trained to see Latinos and put them as white. Like, check this out.
Troopers record your race on your ticket. It's required by law to show whether the Department of Public Safety is racially profiling.
But tonight, KXAN investigator Brian Collister uncovers troopers are not always following that law during traffic stops.
Robert and Shannon, DPS calls itself an elite and highly trained force. So how can troopers get something so obvious so wrong? A DPS trooper, siren blaring, coming up fast. He pulls over this driver for speeding last May. Pastor Gonzalez Sosa only speaks Spanish, tells the trooper he's from Mexico. But guess what race the trooper, who's Hispanic and also speaking Spanish, marks down on Sosa's ticket? White. The same thing happened to Sergio Raul Mejia when he got a ticket this May in Georgetown. The trooper reported Mejia as white.
Now, let me just say, certain people, certain naysayers might say, well, you guys identify as white and all this other stuff. Well, let's see what he has to say about that.
That's bad. I'm Hispanic. He was not supposed to fool white people.
You don't think you look white?
No.
Both of you drinking?
In every traffic stop, state law requires peace officers determine the driver's race to the best of their ability and document it. The law is very clear. Race and ethnicity are treated the same. Troopers must pick from these categories, which include both white and Hispanic. But we've discovered examples of race recorded incorrectly after we poured through millions of DPS traffic citation records.
So I just wanted to stop it right there and just show that this has been a systematic thing out here. You know, this is not something that people are just making up, you know, and this is not something that I'm just making up just so I could, you know, get views or whatever the case is. And I just want to point out one more thing that I want to point out one more thing that I also encountered, and I want to show that right now. Give me 1 minute. Hold on. Bow. Okay. This here it goes. Shout out to these people. He speaks about the prison system, so check this out.
You have to be able to overcome that, not lose yourself, become institutional epic, and I would imagine guys break right there.
Yeah, yeah. I remember my day. I'm walking through, and there's two guys in front of me, and I see an officer. Boom, hits the guy in the stomach. He falls to the ground.
Wow.
I hear him say, "Okay, okay, next." Boom, another one. I was like, "Oh man,
It's the line.
I'm next, yo. What's going on?" So I get up there, and guess what? Guess why everybody was getting hit? He asked me, black, white, Hispanic.
Oh no.
I said Hispanic. He said, "You sure?" The last guy got hit in the stomach for not saying that he's white.
Wow.
And I said Hispanic. You already know how that went.
Yeah.
They brought me back around again. Same question.
Wow.
3 times I took abuse to take what is mine.
So I want to just play that to just show that this is also happening to Latinos as well. You know what I'm saying?
I think I know where that comes from, though.
Crazy. I did not know that.
I think that comes from back in the day because they used to do that with the Native Americans. You know what I mean? Like they paper genocided them pretty much out, and they're probably trying to do that now with the Latino population.
Yeah, and I'm glad that he said what he said. He took abuse to get what his. He didn't conform, and that's what I like, and I want to spread that message along. Don't conform. If you are what you are, be proud of it. You know what I'm saying? Stand in your square and be proud of it. Don't conform just because other people want you to check a box. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But what do you guys think about that?
I'm shook right now. I had no idea because I wanted to ask about that. That's exactly why so many Latino that I've never met Latino people that identify as white. You know what I'm saying? Ever. So that's why I was like, it makes perfect sense now. Like you just totally educated me about why things are the way they are.
Well,
so
let me say this. Let me be truthful. You're right, Badgie. I haven't heard Latinos identify as white to my face. But the thing is, what I have heard is I know people who work in the school system and they tell me that their Puerto Rican parents mark down white for their children. So this today. This isn't 10 years. No, they're doing that today. And she's even confused. Like, what the hell? This child's clearly not white. Why are you marking down white? You know what I mean? And I remember I used to live with a Puerto Rican dude. I was my roommate out in Miami. And I asked him one time, like, what do you select? Do you select white? He's like, and he looked at me and said, I don't know what else to select. I'm like, what? This guy looked like me. Like, we look like we were brothers. Like, and I'm like, what? I seen his father, his mother, his dad is actually like a dark-skinned Puerto Rican man. So I'm like, bro, you said you select white, and you say, what else am I gonna select? I'm like, you could put 2 or more races, you could put Hispanic, you know what I mean? Like, so this is definitely it does happen.
And it's messed up when that question comes about and it says choose one. It's messed up, completely messed up when that type of thing happens because again, for Latinos, it's confusing. But especially for mixed race or biracial people, you're like, hey yo, but I'm both. You feel what I'm saying? Like, how can I just pick, one? Some people, like in the comments that I'm seeing, some people are saying that you look a certain way, you're gonna come out looking a certain way, right? So my question to everybody is Andrew Tate white or is he black? Because he's biracial. You feel me?
Right?
Exactly. So what is he? I understand certain mixed people look a certain way until you talk to them or whatever the case is, and then you be like, oh, okay, because you're biracial, you're mixed. I get it, but not all the time. That's the reason why you have to speak to people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like
Right.
I think we spoke about that last night on Anthony's channel, right? You don't know what it is until you speak to somebody.
Yeah, I told you when I first saw Andrew Tate, I thought he was white, but then obviously you look a little bit more, and then you start to you'll start to notice it a little bit. Like, okay, no, there's something else. Same with that woman, Rashida Jones, right? If y'all know who that is. When I first saw her, I thought it was a white woman. I saw her on The Office, and I'm like, but then you start watching it, like, oh wait, I could tell she's kind of mixed. But yeah. It does happen.
But I hate how all these conversation, it always, every time we start talking about like mixed race identity, the conversation always gets geared toward like colorism and around the color of our skin and stuff like that. So it's like, that's the fact that, biracial people, they come in a variety of different colors, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, we can't go based on skin color. Like that's what this whole country is obsessed with. It's like skin color, white, black. Are you, if you look a certain way, then you're this race. And it's like, it always based off phenotype and how you look, but it's like that doesn't work for us at all. You know what I'm saying? Because
what
you be a lot of things, so it's like I can't base my identity off how people view me or my skin color. I gotta base my identity based off of like what I am ethnically, and by my ancestry, and my DNA. So
now what do you got? What do you say? What do you say about the fact that when we do have conversations like this, everybody seems to think that when light-skinned or biracial people, whatever, have conversations, they seem to think that it's going to be anti-black.
I hate that. Yes. Oh my God.
What do you guys have to say? What do you guys have to say about that?
We have our own community because there's a lot of fear mongering around it because there's in a lot of like pro-black spaces. There's this book called like The Destruction of the Black Civilization. It was like basically saying that, mixed people came about into power and it destroyed Black civilization. So it's like, basically there's like a lot of fear mongering about, if we rise up to power and we have our own identity and our own community that we're going to turn on Black people. But honestly, that doesn't make sense to me because historically we've always been for the Black community, always fighting with the Black community because we were considered Black. We were together in this. So it's like if we start building our own space in our own community, I still feel connected to part of the Black community, and I love my Blackness so much. And it offends me a lot. You have no idea how much it offends me that people try to accuse me of anti-Blackness just because we need our own spaces because we're like a subgroup in the Black community. So it's like these people that are still like, they still need to be taken care of. We still need our spaces because Black people are always saying we can't go into their spaces and dominate their spaces and be like, make all our issues their issues because they can't relate to our issues as biracial people. So it's like you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. You know what I'm saying? So it's like if we start making our own spaces, all of a sudden we're anti-Black. It's like, but if we do that, if we go on your space trying to talk about our issues, we ain't trying to hear all that shit. We need to cry racial right now. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, damned if you do, damned if you don't. But I'd rather just do what's best for me and not give a fuck about what people think. You know what I'm saying? So at bottom line.
Gotcha. So, what do you got to say about about?
I mean, I think it's just you said okay. So if you claim mixed, they're saying you're anti-Black. Is that what you said?
No. If you want to have your own space, I heard the argument, especially yesterday. I heard the argument.
I'll be
honest. If you're going to have your own space, that means that you're going to start talking bad about Black folks. And you guys are going to be anti-Black and all this other stuff. Like, what do you have to say about that?
I think it's just a projection. You know what I mean? It's the same argument with the whole FBA where they don't like when Caribbean or Africans speak up about what actually happened to them and how they were treated by Black America. And they try to project and say, no, it's not. That's not what happened. We were just clowning. And it's the same thing. So they're afraid that, we're going to start talking amongst each other, which we have. And we realize, wait, we all have the same experiences. Like we're called white boy and white girl and all these little like microaggressions, and we've been dealing with the same things because everybody can say, okay, there's a lot of racist white people in America. We all know that. Every other group knows that, but nobody wants to point. Black America doesn't want the finger pointed at them, so they don't want it by the Caribbean people, Latinos. They don't want it by the mix. But they're looking at us like we're traitors. Like, oh, how dare you? You know what I'm saying? Same thing with the Caribbean Black people. Yeah. They're just like, how dare you?
When I got on TikTok, right, I started to talk about colorism and how it affects, because it's a biracial space, so I'm going to talk about how shit affects us too. But, I got called all types of light skin fragility and all types of light skin tears and all this bullshit. But I do think there is like a Black fragility too. Like when you try to call, because they say that about us, when you try to call light or mixed race people out on their bullshit, they start crying and they're fragile. They treat us like white people. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, I do think there's a sense of fragility when it comes to Black people too, when it comes to calling out things and their issues. And it's not coming from a place of hate. It's coming from a place of like self-preservation because it's affecting us. You know what I'm saying? You see all these memes of like letting people to die and all this crazy shit that needs to be called out because it's dangerous. Like you were saying on your live, Anthony, like all this rhetoric is dangerous. Like it's very dangerous.
It is dangerous because even when I've seen it,
but it's real. We gotta really There's a, you know
Yeah,
what I'm
and
saying?
this
So,
is something that, first of all, que lo que Don, shout out to you. This is something that I said last night on Magic's thing, and again, people were coming at me, you know what I mean? But I was just speaking the truth that you don't hear this from no one else. I never heard you're not black and all that from a Haitian, from a Latino, from any other group but Black Americans. That's the only group that I've seen gatekeep who's black and who's not, blackness and all this other stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's the only group. And for some reason, I got like targeted talking about you. I never heard that. I'm like, well, you gotta get on Twitter then. But that's the thing, and I'm like, wait a minute, am I bugging? Because I did only heard it from Black Americans, no one else. I haven't heard that from Haitians, Jamaicans. I never heard it from nobody else. Only from Black Americans who gatekeep blackness. What do you guys have to say about that?
No, it's a fact. They'll claim
the whole
you
like gatekeep
when they want.
blackness.
Yeah, go ahead.
I
Go ahead.
understand.
One at a time. Whoever wants to
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, when the whole gatekeep. Go ahead. And all right, so I think when it comes to the whole gatekeep, I understand why like that people want to gate because you know historically they've had like Elvis and like had so much culture that ripped from them, so they could. I understand why they want to gatekeep blackness, but I feel like they're taking it on the wrong things. Like you know, if we're biracial, like we're half black, we shouldn't be denied our heritage at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? So it's like there's that, but I don't know. I think everything always gets stuck into the extreme, unfortunately. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I don't know. I think it should be a healthy amount.
I'll drop the link in a few. I just want to have a conversation with everyone. Whoever wants to, give their point across could come in, but let's be respectful. I'll do it soon, but let's talk about it.
I'll say this.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna go back a little bit when you said when people say, "Oh, we have in our own space." Might be anti-black, whatever. Honestly, at this point, I don't really care what the black community thinks. I'm gonna be completely honest. Like they can, they got their thing, and that's cool. And if they allow us to come in their space and speak, that's cool too. If they don't, that's cool too. But I'm not here to sit there. See, I'm not one of the people that's gonna sit here and cry about black people or white people all day on my channel. Like that's not happening. You know what I mean? And I do. I do feel some type of way when I do see a lot of black people using the trauma of mixed people for their advantage. So I think that's what they do. They'll use mixed people for their advantage, but then when they don't want them no more, they'll spit them out. Like you see what Tariq.
So in other words, you're like, respect our space, and this is the boundaries that we're setting. Respect that because you guys have boundaries too. That's what you pretty much are saying.
Yeah, and
gotcha.
yeah, exactly.
And what you said about Tariq and you.
And like even with Tariq, with the whole, with the his little promo for the Hidden History Museum, you've seen how he tried to qualify mixed race people for his this guy has black ancestry, this guy has like what the hell?
Yeah.
And then but then he'll call them tethers at a drop of a dime. So it's just like, come on, like nah, we're not doing that no more. Like
I was called a tether like 10 times yesterday. No, I feel you because it's just very, very interesting to me that it just blows my mind. And this is what I was talking to my wife about yesterday. That just here in America though, the same exact thing that happens to y'all happens to Latinos with the whole choosing the box thing or whatever. And if you don't choose the right box, then you get ostracized from whatever group. Latinos don't care about that. We really don't. We never talk about what color you is. You got to be black. Nobody. We don't talk. What we talk about is either politics or how to make money. That's it. You know what I'm saying? That's it. We don't really care about that. When we go back to our homeland, everyone's mixed. Everyone's mixed. Everybody's just living the life of it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing that just baffles me a little bit. And even my wife said, she's like, yo, we don't worry about this. You know what I'm saying? We don't talk about this. She was like, y'all talk about this here? I'm like, yeah, it's kind of a thing. And she's like, that's stupid. And it's true. From an outsider looking in, it's dumb. It's really dumb.
You got to look at it like this, though. You got to look. I think people are still battling over America. That's the difference. Like people are not battling in Puerto Rico. Like it's already done. Like the people are mixed. That's what it is. Nobody's battling over Dominican Republic at this point. It's like, but in
Oh.
America, you still do have white people that's like they're trying to fight for their, I guess, purity and still trying to do that, and black people are starting to do the same. So that's where the nation has never gelled. We never became one people. So like with Latinos, I feel, hold on real quick. Like with Latinos, I feel like they have a safety net, which is like, okay. I even heard one of my professors say this years ago. He was like, "Oh, us Latinos, we don't touch race. You know, it gets a little tricky." And the reason why is because like, they have that safety net where it's like, okay, I don't want to deal with that. I'm Dominican. I don't want to deal with that. I'm just Puerto Rican, and they can do that. But if you're mixed and you're American, you don't have that ancestry like from like Latin America, then it becomes you can't do that. You don't have that safety net where you could just be like, you know what, I don't want to deal with that. I'm Puerto Rican. I don't care. That's not my problem. You know what I mean?
Facts. Go ahead, Magic.
Let me tell you something that just fucked me. So my husband told me this right before I started this live stream. He was like, none of this shit mattered because he was telling me that back when Obama was president, right? He told China that we're not going to pay them back their money, right? And so Trump said the same thing. We ain't going to pay them back their money. So basically, China plans on invading America and sending like 3 Chinese people over here to take over America. So it's like we all gonna be speaking Chinese eventually because we didn't want to pay back their money. So all of that, we all gonna be mixed by 2050. That's going out the window. We all gonna be
so we're gonna be Blasians. We're gonna be Asians. Wherever.
We're gonna be Blasians. Like 3 million Chinese people. 300 million. That's how many. That's how many Americans there are now. So we would be definitely taken over by China. So that's something to think about. Like all that shit might be out the window. We all might be speaking Chinese here in the next generation. So that's something to think about. My husband told me that. I was like, oh shit. Because they easily do that. They got like 1 billion people. So they send 300 million people over here. Bro, that's nothing to them. That's a drop in the bucket. So that's why you hear all these stories about all these plants and stuff being blown up, and they're buying all this land over here so they can send all the so we fucked.
Yeah, so I put the link up in the chat for anybody who wants to come in and discuss what we're discussing now. It's up to whoever comes in. Please be respectful. Don't be an idiot. Okay, please. don't start cursing out. You light skinned mother. You know what I mean? Like relax. Keep it cool. You know what I mean? But let me ask you guys. Where do you think this goes from here? And I want to ask Magic this, and then Anthony could chime in. And you guys are gonna have to talk among yourselves because I gotta go do something real quick. But what does it go from here? What do you guys wish it came from the whole this whole thing? If we do have a mixed and biracial type of town hall, if you say.
We keep fighting to normalize. But like I said, I want us to keep fighting to normalize biracial spaces and normalize communities and keep, talking with the Black community so we can have some mutual respect, understanding. It's hard, it's tough, but it's like it needs to be there. We're a small minority, and protection we deserve protection from all of the anti-mixed race racism and all that bullshit that we gotta face. So it's like we got to unite and make sure that protecting each other, because nobody else is gonna give a damn about us. We're gonna get biracial and all that bullshit. So what you think, Ant?
No, I agree. Like I think it just really comes down to just respecting people's identity at the end of the day, because I have seen a lot of people that do push Blackness on. Not just obviously they push it on us, but they push it on Latinos all the time. I seen a woman that had a DNA test. She was 20% African, and they're pushing African on her. And then you guys know, I'm not gonna say his name. Radical's not here, but that Dominican dude, that had his little racist rant. Yeah, I'm sure y'all know who I'm talking about. I think he did a DNA test. And he's not even that much. He looks like he could have a Black parent, but he's only like 20% Afro or 17% African. But people were calling him Black when that situation happened, when he was in his car just basically ranting about Dominicans dating Black men or whatever. But yeah, they tried to push that, and that needs to stop. At the end of the day, America is becoming more multiracial. With white people are marrying Asians, and Asians are marrying, certain, small amount, but there are some Blasians, you know what I'm saying? And then every other day I'm seeing couples, I'm seeing a black men with Latinas and white women. So this is just the reality. You know what I'm saying? And this ain't like it was back in the day. This ain't 50 years ago. You can't keep living in the past and saying, oh, well, back in the day, well, if the police pull you over, all that BS, and it's deeper than just the multiracial thing. It also has to do with the cultural thing, right? Like this whole, beefing with someone because they're Jamaican, or beefing with someone because they're Haitian or African. Like that just needs to stop at the end of the day. You know what I mean?
And I think what Royal said, I can't remember. Latinos' identity is ethnicity. And look, I look at Latinos as like they're a more powerful group. They're more established. They have like established cultures. They have an established like identity that they are trying to erase, but they already have it established, right? So it's like we're starting from scratch. You know what I'm saying? Like this is just now happened. Like what Umar was saying, like this, it just started happening like 2010s and 2020s. Like we just now started identifying as biracial and trying to establish our own identity in our own culture and our own communities, right? So it's like I look to the community to like look at the Latino community as like inspiration almost. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's what I want to do. I want to go by ethnicity and location. Like I'm a Euro African American. Like that's the fuck I am, right? So it's like I don't know. I just look at them as an example. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
All right, want to give a huge shout out to the two guests. Shout out to Don. Shout out to Toenail Breaker. What's going on? What's going on, guys? What's up?
Good evening to everyone. So I'm going to let the other gentleman basically get his props in.
All right, cool. Don Armando.
What's good?
Yo. All right. So I want Toenail Breaker to go first, and then Don to go second. Oh, and we got Rocket. Yo, Rocket, yo, what up? Rocket will go last.
Yo, what's up, Rad?
Yo, what up? So Toe, go ahead, and then Don, and then Rocket. So Toe, go ahead, bro.
So I wanted to elaborate on one of the things that was said, is using the word basically gatekeep. I think that's a misnomer in the United States in the Black community. And let me explain the reason why it is. I think Blackness within the United States is modulated, not gatekeep. It's modulated. Yes, you do have certain individuals. There are some people. Well, now growing. Some people within the Black community are now starting to basically free themselves from the colonial thinking, and then falling more into line of the African or Caribbean standards of Blackness. Now, if you were born and raised in a Black country, yes, that's gatekeeping, but it doesn't alienate you from being part of the culture. Like for me, I was born in the Caribbean. I was born in basically a predominant Black society, right? So, but they never saw me as basically Black, but I was always basically seen as a Caribbean person. They never alienated me, but one thing was always made very extremely clear: I wasn't Black. But I just wanted to elaborate on that particular part, because in the United States, it's more modulated, not exactly gate kept.
Gotcha. Does anybody want to respond to what he just said, or can we move on?
All right. Take me for example, right?
Okay.
I mean, it is what it is. I'm a dark-skinned Dominican, and I grew up in a lot of societies. So if you actually look at it from, I guess, now that everybody wants to press FBA and whatever the case may be, when I was growing up, nobody ever called themselves FBA. It was not even a term. So it was just that you had certain people that they now identify with that, because I guess it's a new term. But when I was growing up, FBA was not even a term. And for my mixed race people, I side with y'all in certain issues. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, I remember when certain people, they used to go around and jumped on people that were mixed just because they were high yellow or something like that. So it does happen.
Facts. I've seen that too. Rakim, your turn. Go. What do you got to say about this conversation? Yo, Rakim. Yo, you're mute. You're muted, by the way. Rakim, you're muted. Maybe he needs to go back and come back in. Uh,
Hold on,
I'll let him go back out. All right, Jose, what's going on, Jose? Thank you for coming in. What you got to say, man?
Well, first of all, thank you for allowing me on your platform, and shout out to everyone on the panel in the chat. Now, when it comes to us having to pick a side, the way I see it, we shouldn't have to be in that position to pick a side. I always believe that each individual should be able to self-identify as one see fit. Unfortunately, we're living in a society which is based in everything on the color of your skin. I mean, that doesn't take away the fact that each one of us has a unique experiences and what have you, and different environments. So the fact of the matter is, I believe we shouldn't have to pick a side. We should be allowed to self-identify as one sees fit.
Gotcha. I want to just hold on, just real quick. Somebody wants to answer this. FBA says
I'll
how
answer
how
that.
are you, wait, hold on. Let me just read it and let me just read it. Let me just read it and then y'all can answer it. How y'all teaming up with the Latinos over black folks, which is insane, but okay. Go ahead, Anthony, and then Magic. Go ahead.
I'll say this to that. I've said this before. Like it's real funny how you'll see people who, not all, but there are people like Black Americans in these spaces that will team up. They're teaming up with Jamaicans and Haitians and the Pan African crowd, RBG crowd off the basis of being black, not cultural, not culture, but just because they're the same race. But then they feel some type of way when us of the same race or relatively like the same race link up, like Dominicans and Puerto Ricans and mixed race people in America. We team up based on the same thing. Like, okay, we're kind of the same race, we're different culturally. You know what I'm saying? And they feel some type of way about that. Like it's weird because if they're comfortable with Jamaicans and Haitians based off being black, why are they looking at us in some type of way because we're comfortable being around Latinos based off us looking the same? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Terminology is wrong.
Wait. Hold on. You'll come.
Let it be
gonna
wrong.
come in.
It's all good.
You're gonna come in. You're gonna
as
come
long
in.
as you understand.
Oh, Magic. Go ahead. You wanna.
So I think that some of it boils down to some of our interests align, right? It's like both of us, our identities are being erased, so it's like we got to fight back on that. And that mixed race identity is not respected, so that's something that our interests align on. And simple as that. That's not going to hurt the black community. That's not. We're not teaming up against the black community or no craziness like that. Because when it comes to things, some of our interests still align with the black community, like fighting against like racism and white supremacy and all shit. So it's like one don't got to be against the other. Like some of our interests align in this area doesn't mean that we're against black people. Like I don't feel like I'm teaming up with Latino people to be against black or no craziness like that. Like people always try to twist shit and make it like
make it more than what it's in. Yeah,
they're trying to make it seem like, oh, you guys are teaming up against us.
Yeah, it's not that serious. I want Roy Chess. I know that Roy Chess is going to be the fire starter here. So Roy Chess, go right ahead. What do you think about this whole thing?
Well, I think it's oversimplified because I get where the Latinos are coming from. Like, I get it that you guys don't consider it a thing in other countries. I understand that 100%. The issue becomes when it gets a little bit annoying when you come and change the definition of words, right? So if I were to go to your country, I can't just make up definitions of words of what anything is. I can't make up a definition of car if you have a definition of car.
Roches, can you give us an example what Latinos are changing the definition of?
Well, you're changing the definition of race, right? Race is not what you think it is. I mean, maybe that's the slang definition that you were brought up with, but it is a biological term. It originated in biology. It didn't originate because of racism. It didn't originate in slavery or anything like that. I put it in the back chat. And the person who is responsible, his name is Carl Linnaeus, is the person who created that term. He was a biologist. It has nothing to do with what you guys are talking about, or slavery, or anything like that.
Definition of race: a distinct population that is isolated in a particular area from other populations of the species.
Where are you getting that definition?
That's from Wikipedia.
Bro, we're going by how most people see it. Like,
No, that's
All
the
right.
slang
I
definition.
got.
we're
I
not
got.
getting
I
into
got. I
Slang
got to ask a
definition.
question
Hold
to
on,
Roy
that's the
for
slang
Roy
definition.
Chess.
Social population is humans categorized on bias various sets of inheritable traits. That's what.
No, that's
race
not
definition.
correct. You're talking about slang. People who wrote you got it from where? Wikipedia?
Biology.
What?
That's from Biology Online.
No, it isn't.
Online. That's
No,
not
it isn't.
Yes, it is. I'm looking at Biology Online right now. That's what I'm on Google right now, looking it up.
Can you give me a
Looking up
textbook that has that definition? Give me a legitimate biological
Online,
article.
what is your definition that you go by that?
we're not turning this into a Sonetta show, man. Like, most
No.
people,
Definition in
you
English.
feel me? Like, yo,
You
most
ask
people see
anybody
race as,
in America
you know what I
who's
mean?
born in America. Now, that's
Like,
only immigrants that say that. That definition that you're using, that's what I'm trying to get you to understand. I'm not trying to be disrespectful or anything, but that is only taught by immigrants.
About what?
It is
About what? About what? About what?
about
Are
the
you
things
talking
that
about
you're
social
saying.
construct? What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
It is not. It is so. It seems to me that a lot of people from other countries think that race is a social contract. You're taught that by your friends and things like that, and your family members. You're not taught that by a PhD in America. There is no PhD in America that will define it that way, or a master's degree in any field will define race the way you define it. Academically, because that's where the term comes from. The term comes from academia.
Roy Chess,
It does not come from slang.
Roy Chess. You said that there's four. Wait, Roy Chess. You said that there's 4 races, right?
Yes.
Okay, which is Caucasoid, Mongoloid. What else? You could probably Negroid, and what else?
Mongoloid.
Well, so those are all outdated definitions. We can modernize them and saying white, black, Indian, and
Asian.
white, black, Indian, and Asian is, I would say, Oriental. I wouldn't say Asian.
Okay, you'll say Oriental. Okay, what are Indian people? Wait, what are Indian people? Are they black or are they white?
They're Indian.
No, wait. What are Indian people from India?
They're Indian. That's
so they're native. So they're Native American. So based on the races, they're Native American.
What?
You said
no. Native American is a location. I'm talking about race.
You said 4 races: white, black, Indian, and Asian. What are Indians?
They're Caucasian.
Indian is a classification. Indian is a classification,
what
not
race
a location.
What race are they?
Indian. Indian is a race.
Okay, so they're Native American then.
No.
Based on those 4 races, they're Native American. Indian.
No, Native American is not a race.
Native American is Indian. Is it not Indian? Native American, is it not Indian?
Yes, it is Indian. Yes.
There we go. So Native American. So they're Native American. Got it. Now
no, it's not the same. It's not the same. Because you have
all right, but man, I interject with something.
Go ahead. Because I got 2 people in the back. Go ahead.
All right. One thing that I've read, and there was a scientist that I forgot his name, but he went up and made this classification that there's only 4 races, right? So therefore, from people in videos that I have seen, they're always classified the Indians as Caucasoid, not as the white people, but then there was like they said they put them in the Caucasoid category, and which is surprising. They actually put Ethiopians in that category also.
Where did you get this information? There are no academic sources that say that.
But bro, there's no academic sources that say those 4 races are something true. This guy that you're bringing up, this French guy, I studied him too. He has no PhD in anthropology.
He's not French. Well, hold on. He's not an anthropologist. He's a biologist. He's not French.
Well, wasn't he the one that made Caucasoid a thing due to the shape of the skull?
No, that's wrong. You're getting the people.
All right, but we're talking about the scientists in the 1600s.
Hold on. You're getting the immigrant version. That's not the American educated version.
Okay, so what's the American? So what is the American educated version? Because my immigrant ass don't know. What is the American? What is the? No. You're an expert. You should be knowing. What is the American version? Who made Caucasoid because of the Caucasus Mountains due to the back of the skull of white people's heads? Who made that? that became the most popular term. So who?
No, that's not correct. The link that I put in the back chat is older than the one you're talking about. You're talking about a German scientist, an anthropologist, and that's not the right field to classify animals. So anthropology does not study animals, right?
Okay,
so you're in the wrong academic
so
field.
let me ask you. Your whole point is that there's no such thing as mixed race people. You should only pick one.
No. In academia, there are only 4 races.
Okay, got it. You can only pick one.
No. Not that you only could pick one.
Okay.
Back in the day, you only were one. Today, in 2023, we're all mixed.
Yeah, but
So
what's your point?
there
though?
is
You
no
said
mixed
it,
race.
but what is your point though? You said in academia there's only 4 races. So what? What is your point? Academia changes.
Okay, no, it doesn't.
Yes, it does actually.
No, it does.
There's
It
actually
does.
doctors
No, it
right
does.
now.
It hasn't changed.
No, it does.
Yes,
There's a lot of
no.
there's a lot of
It hasn't
academia,
changed yet.
bro. There's a lot of academia that has changed, bro.
Right, but this has not.
Okay, I guess
Okay,
not.
this
then.
has not. No, this
I would
has
like you
not.
to show me where you have academia that changed it.
Well,
It hasn't changed.
what they have changed? Talking about black low IQ. That's definitely changed.
That's not
That
even
was based
science.
on academia, bro.
No. You're doing this wrong.
That was
you're
based
talking
on
about.
you're talking about. Give me an
You're
example
talking-
of academia that
Yo,
changed.
Radical, I'm just trying to
giving
see
you an
his
example.
point.
No.
Like, what is your
I didn't say academia never changes. I said this did not change.
I know that. And I'm
Okay.
not disputing
But
that.
what's your point though? Like, what does
Well-
that have to do with the topic?
Well, my point is, if you're gonna say, your definition, at least come up with the right definition, and you could say that it's irrelevant because we're all mixed. We're all
Who
every
gave a
human
definition?
being. What do you mean? Who gave a definition? I put it in the back chat.
No, you said if you're gonna give a definition, give the right. Okay, we got it. But what does that have to do with the topic? Like, what do you add into the topic?
What I'm adding is that if you're going to make an argument if you want to eliminate the race thing, right? Because I think that's where you're going. You can say that we're all mixed. All modern human beings are mixed race. All of us, every single one of us on this panel.
Yeah.
All right.
So there are no, race is not a thing. If that's what you want to say, then say that. But at least get the definitions right. At least present the argument correctly so that people could sound more intelligent.
Okay.
My argument was the original argument was that Black Americans will unite with Jamaicans based off of the concept of race, but then look at mixed people. Hold on, they look at you talked for a long time. They look at mixed people and say basically you can't be in the same room as Latinos, even though we might be more comfortable in certain situations based off of that same concept of race. That is what my argument was. And you're like, the terminology is wrong. That's not race. We went on a whole tirade for 15 minutes.
There's a better term for it.
And we got nowhere.
What's a better term? What's a better term?
You're talking about nepotism.
Okay, so just say the term, man. What's the term?
Wait. Go
The
ahead.
term you
Tell
would
me the
need
term.
is nepotism. So even if we were all the same race, right? If we were all white or if we were all Latino, there would still be people who are treated better than others. The right term is either nepotism or favoritism, something like that, because we have a class system. Even if we were the same.
Wait. Give me a minute, Roy Chess, because I got Donald Trump in the back. Yo, Donald Trump, what's going on, bro? What you got to say about this? Yo, Donald Trump, you're.
Why are you mixed breeds fighting over this new world bullshit? Why are you mixed breeds fighting over this new world bullshit?
This new world is it Jew controlled? Is that what you're saying?
New world make no fucking sense.
Don't you got a case? Don't you got a case to fight?
Go to prison. Yeah. Worry about your prison case.
Yeah, this guy.
Why
This
are
guy.
you
he's-
new world?
Oh boy.
I love it. I love it when they come in here with just trolling. That's funny. Rakim, I'm sorry that I kicked you out because I don't know what happened. You wasn't talking.
Yeah, I had to go run and grab something really quick.
No, it's all good, bro. Give me your point of view on this whole thing that's happening.
Well, as one of 2 Black Americans that's on the panel, man, Black Americans are a hot topic in these YouTube streets. I see, man. Well, first and foremost, Rad, to correct you on something, Malcolm X wasn't biracial. He was actually you would say that his parent was African American and his mother was half Bahamian and I believe half European. So that would make him technically.
No. Yo, I have to correct you there, Rakim.
Okay, go ahead, Don.
Right. His mother, I guess, had was from Grenada or something like that, because I actually read the autobiography of Malcolm X.
Yeah. So okay, she was Caribbean. She was half and half.
Right. So that would make him mixed.
No, that was I don't know.
He would still be black.
This whole
He would
time,
still be black.
This whole time I thought he was biracial. My bad. If that's not what it was.
If it's one African American parent and a mixed Grenadian Caribbean, then that would mean, I don't know, 75%, 25%, you can say. But that's neither here nor there. The funny thing is, how was he looked? How was he perceived at that time period? If he lost his family, if his father was lynched by the Klan, and he lost everything in the process, how was he perceived? The whole thing is, the thing that gets me a lot of this stuff, man, is that it's funny. I find it so funny how people, 13% of the population is like 100% of the problems here in the United States. It's funny to me because Black Americans did not create any of these laws that forced mixed people into the Black community and excluded them from wealth. It's not a situation of people projecting, like Anthony said. If historically, people don't read books, obviously. If historically, when mixed people were used as a buffer class amongst Black people, historically, until they changed the laws because they had mixed people who was claiming wealth of their deceased parents. And they were like, no, we can't have that. So that's when the laws were changed. And a lot of mixed people got excluded from their privileges amongst being the buffer class over Black Americans. That's just a total fact.
Yeah.
Well, Rakim, let me just say something. The reason why Black Americans were a topic or is part of the topic is because Black Americans are the only ones gatekeeping Blackness, the only ones that are saying, well, you're Black and you're not. So if that's not true, then we would have never said nothing about Black Americans. We're just talking about how. Go ahead, Magic.
It's like they're doing the same thing, just like how white people block us out of our privileges or whatever. It's like Black people kind of turn around and say, hey, you can't be part of our community as well. So it's like it is what it is, and that's why we're making our own community, so we don't gotta sit here and worry about that's the solution to it. And there's a lot of pushback on us having our own communities from both sides. So it's like, what are we gonna do about that? So it's not that this. I don't know. I'm not really sitting here blaming nobody though. I'm not playing a blame game, but who's that? Is it white or black? I'm not looking to Black community or the white community to sit here and fix all my problems or I'm not mad at nobody. I don't care. We're just moving on.
But that's the thing, Magic. Well, it's not about Black people. We talked about white people in the beginning, right? You brought up that video with the guy getting beat up in prison, and then we went to how we see Black people do it. So you just want to focus on when we talk about Black people. It pretty much
no, that's not true, Anthony.
Well, let me finish. I let you talk, man.
I wasn't finished actually.
Oh, you wasn't finished?
No, I wasn't
finished. You
finished.
Cut Magic off though.
But let him finish.
Sorry,
Let Rakim finish, and then Anthony will go. Rakim, go ahead.
First and foremost, most of the topics on your page, Anthony, is about Black people and what Black people are doing, and Tariq Nasheed. And Tariq Nasheed doesn't even conclude for 40 million Black people in this country. And I'm trying to figure out, what are you all trying to do to get the laws changed to recognize mixed people? Because you all say, oh, well, white people don't do this or white people don't do that. How often are you all around white people? Are you in there? Are you in these circles with these people? Do you know how they perceive you? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Doing our own thing. I'm not worried about what white people doing. I mean, yeah, I'm not taking that on personally. We're not there yet where we could take on the laws and do all that yet. No, because we got our identity erased. We had our categories and stuff at one point. It got erased. Like I'm saying, fighting our own erasure. And then we're just trying to unite ourselves and trying to gather. I'm not worried about fighting.
Okay, well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Because we I hear you all compare yourself to Hispanics. Hispanics are mixed generationally, not one half and half, not two people coming together on their situation. of miscegenation laws. They're not only are they mixed, multi.
That's true.
When here in the United States, most mixed people either go one way or other. Like a lot of mixed people are not even around long enough to be their own category. When they either date one person that is black or one person that is white, and as time goes on, they become part of that certain race. And I find it kind of crazy how people are putting black people in this situation, like black people are the most oppressive, and all because of, don't get me wrong, black people can say some nasty stuff online. I've seen it. Like Don was saying about people being jumped because they was mixed. I grew up in a mostly all black neighborhood. I grew up around some Hispanics later on in life, all black neighborhood. Mostly in the inner cities, black people, young black boys will target other young black kids if they're different. Another thing too, when people say gatekeeping, if you're not on the same page with that particular group, as far as them trying to advance as a community, then of course anybody, that's with any group that they're not gonna accept you and your way of thinking if your thinking is not conducive to helping that particular group advance. If you go into the Chinese community as a Chinese person and you speak against the Chinese, what do you think going to happen? If you are a person of Hebrew descent and you speak against the Hebrews, what do you think is going to happen? It was a guy recently that was a rabbi who was quoting saying that he thought, certain Africans might be the original Hebrews. And what did people do in that synagogue? They got up and walked clean out of the synagogue. So when people try to sit here and say like black people are gatekeeping, black people have a very distinct history in this country. And if you're not part of that group as far as advancing, of course, people are going to be looking at you suspect. They're definitely going to look at you suspect. Like what you say, Clarence Thomas and all of them earlier. Clarence Thomas, people don't trust Clarence Thomas. They look at him as a coon. We can't obviously say he's not black because visibly when you look at him, but as soon as you hear his mouth, when you hear his mouth open up, of course you're gonna identify him as.
You gotta land the plane, Rakim. Land the plane. Just
okay. I'll just say this. The perfect example. Watch that episode of Good Times when that black family came. They was uppity class people and they came into the ghetto, and they looked down on other black people. Obviously, they weren't part of the community if they doing that. So that's all I gotta say.
Gotcha. Now let me just say something before Anthony, if he wants to still talk. But let me just say something, Rakim. You actually are right. Latinos have been generally mixed for centuries and centuries and centuries. You're right. This is the reason why I prefaced it and phrased it the way I did about America. Here in America, Latinos are facing the same thing that biracial and mixed people are facing when it comes to picking the box. I just gave examples of it in the beginning of the show. I gave examples of how they're forcing, I've been saying this for a long time, how they force Latinos to pick white, even though we don't want to, even though we don't identify as that. The same thing is going on with biracial people. Pick one box. You're either black or you're white. The same thing is happening. So that's the reason why I'm saying that we do have a common issue and we do have a common fight. That's the whole point that I'm saying. And
right, but there's an issue there because you're confusing race with ethnicity.
No, I'm not confusing race with ethnicity whatsoever. Because
that's what ethnicity means.
Because I'm not. Because
that's what ethnicity means.
The thing is that when they're talking about pick a race,
that's not race. That's
when
ethnicity.
Hold on. When they talk
the word
about
they're using is race.
Hold on. When they talk about pick a race to a Latino who doesn't know what race they are, because where they come from, we don't speak about that dumb shit. It has nothing to do with race and ethnicity. That's just confusion. And when we leave it blank, they put white. So
right,
this is
I get that. I get that.
Exactly. So there's no reason for you to
So Rad, let me ask you a quick question. You saying there's no racism, is no race, like it's not no racial issues amongst.
We're not talking about racism. We're not talking about racism. That's something else.
Talking colorism, whatever. You saying there's no problems amongst Hispanics with that?
Nobody said nothing about that.
No, can we say, wait, let's keep it on the topic about the mixed race people. So
Yeah, we gotta stay on topic.
Yeah, because because all I said was identifying with a race box. Now you're talking about colorism and racism.
Yeah,
that
we're
has
not
nothing to do with that.
All right,
That's
all
what I'm
right,
saying.
all right. Whatever. Let me, okay, hold on 1 second, Roy Chess. No, so have mixed people been used historically as a buffer class on what they comfortable with?
Wait. Let Magic go. Let Magic go. Let Magic go. Wait, Magic, go ahead. Go ahead.
So
Bro, I was supposed to respond, man. Come on, man.
We got pushback. Us trying to form our identity, we get pushback on both sides. We get pushback from the Black community and we get pushback from the white community because we're just trying to establish our identity. And when it comes to gatekeeping, you should gatekeep. I agree with you gatekeeping because I understand the history. I know my Black history. You don't got to educate me on what I already know. So it's like, I think you should gatekeep. I understand why and I respect it. That's why a big part of the reason why biracial should identify as biracial. So we don't be the face of Blackness, and because Black people want to gatekeep their image, and I respect that. That's cool. You know what I'm saying? I think that's a perfectly fine thing to do. And so, yeah, I just agree with gatekeeping. And we get pushback from both sides, and that's the issue. It's not trying to make you all the problems in the world. That's not what it's doing. I'm just saying we get pushback. Identifying as
let me say this, right?
Go ahead.
Yo, okay, so the stream was supposed, from what I thought, the stream was supposed to be about basically our experiences as being kind of forced to pick and choose a box.
Exactly.
Right? So
exactly.
So your experience is being as a Latino, our experience is being as mixed race, Black and white, so-called biracial. So me and Magic are giving our experiences, and hey, it's not our fault if the bad experiences are with the Black community as far as them trying to push the identity. It's not about nobody beating us up or nothing. We're talking about specifically telling you're not you're not mixed, you're just Black. You need to just I consider you full Black like Umar does. So yeah, a lot of us came out of those spaces. So that's just our experience. It's not about saying you're the whole problem and it's all your fault. No, it's just pushing Blackness on a group, and that is what we experience. So we're giving white people haven't done that, as we explained earlier. I haven't seen a white person tell me, yo, you're not Italian because you're half Black. Like, that's never happened.
Yes, okay, that's your experience, right? That's your experience. Because it's a lot of mixed race people's experience that say that they was completely shunned from their other white half and they was more accepted by their Black half. So
that's
if we
that's true.
your experience,
no, there's some experience. He's right. No, he's right.
He's right, but they're not on the panel saying that. We're talking about us, our experience.
Okay, you as an individual. You're not speaking for all mixed people.
No, but you're just bringing up people that aren't even here.
Don't argue with us. If you say you're biracial, it's not going to be like, oh no, you're not biracial. You're not biracial. Like, it's just going to be like, okay, you're biracial. Nobody cares, and that's how we want it to be. We just want it to be like, hey, you're biracial. We're not going to sit and argue with it all day, every day. Have debates about if you're biracial or if you're not. Like, that's what we're sick of.
The problem is your terminology. It's wrong. You can't make up words.
Yeah, I know.
Ethnicity means something in America.
Roy Chess, I understand. Roy Chess, I understand that you want to go by the 4 races and biracial. It's not the right terminology. We get it. Bring something else to the table.
Right, but ethnicity is a different definition.
Bring something else to the table, because biracial is not an ethnicity.
What?
Bring something else to the table. We get your scientific breakdown. Bring something else to the table.
Right, but why do you think ethnicity is different?
Bring something else to the table, Roy Chess, because we already get it. We'll get it.
All right, so let me ask you this:
metaphysical, scientifical, we get it.
All right, let me ask. I don't know the guy next to you's name. Let me ask. When he says Black people, are you talking about Black Americans, or are you talking about Black people as a race?
Okay, we're talking about Black Americans. That's what we're talking about.
Okay, so you need to say that, because you're confusing.
Okay, we'll say African Americans. All right, there we go.
It's confusing. It's confusing to you.
No, it's you're double meaning certain words. Black meaning the race, and Black meaning the African American.
Let me just say something real quick, Roy Chess. Let me just say something real quick.
Okay, Rakim, say what you gotta say. Rakim, say what
FBA.
Wait, hold up. Rakim, say what you gotta say, because I want Kevin C to go.
All right, man. Check this out. In every facet of Black culture and Black society, mixed people have always been in there, from music to movies to sitcoms to every part. Mixed people have always been in Black culture. I got mixed people in my family that consider themselves Black. Why? It's because that's just what they've been accepted as and been around. I haven't seen mixed people. If it was this simple way of, you know, oh, mixed people, we need to be our own group and all of this other stuff. Now, I'm not saying it is some people, especially people that have an inferiority complex, that will talk crazy about mixed people and say you're not black or something like that. I get that. But for the most part, I don't see mixed people trying to go over there to their other half and ask them for spots on Friends or spots on Frasier and all of them and have them identify as their mixed biracial parent if, you know, the other side is so much more acceptable. I haven't seen it.
We're trying to create our own spaces in our own community, so we don't have to go on either side. We could just have our own side. We could just do our own thing and have our own thing going on. Because who wants to sit here and because when we are in black culture, a lot of what Drake, he gets called a culture vulture and all this shit. Like, oh, you know what I'm saying? It's like if you identify as biracial in black culture, it's like looked down on. It's like, oh, you're not one of us. So it's like
that's BS. That's BS. Because Drake wouldn't even be as big if black people didn't put him up there. If black people didn't co-sign Drake, Drake wouldn't even be up there.
I know, but I'm saying he still is not fully accepted in the culture. Is what I'm saying for being biracial, for being mixed. Like he's not.
Why do you say that though? What do you mean he's not accepted?
He gets called a look how people talk about him. He gets called a culture vulture all the time, and he's like, why would you call somebody a culture vulture if they were fully part of the culture? They call him a culture vulture.
If they're saying if they're saying that because he's trying to make the most money, that's probably why they're saying it.
But see, here's the thing. Who outweighs each other?
That doesn't make no sense.
Yes, it does, because if he's trying, hold on.
No sense.
Yes, it does. Let me explain. Yes, it does, because he's not just going for the black community. He's going for other communities. That's why he's called the culture vulture. He's trying to make the most money, not just with the black people.
It's been more black people. It's been more black people that accepted Drake than the people that are calling him a culture vulture.
Correct.
The funny thing is, y'all take these certain minor incidents and try to project that like that's all. Drake would have never even blown up. Drake would have never been blown up. You know how many people bought So Far Gone when it came out? Back in February 09.
But bro, you know how many people stopped listening to Drake after his kid came out? Yeah,
no,
there was
yes
it is. No, wait. Yes, it is, bro. You have to be honest, because you have to be honest.
I'm being honest.
I seen at that time, I seen streams after streams after streams after streams. Why he got with a white girl? How come his baby looked like that? You see, that's how biracial people take their blackness away.
That happened with Doja Cat.
Come on now.
And so all of a sudden, you know,
Doja Cat blew up off of black culture. Literally, are you kidding me?
I know.
Like, come on. Yeah, like, come on, bro. Y'all being dishonest. Y'all being generally dishonest.
I think. Wait. Real quick before, because I want Kevin C to go. I want Kevin C to go, but before we go, I believe what Anthony and Magic is saying is that yes, there are a certain group of black folks in the black community that does accept them, but there's also certain groups that don't, and we have to be real about that.
I am being real about that, and historically, it's been more black people that accepted biracials than not. Because if we didn't, they wouldn't even be a part of the community at all. They would have never been in any part of black culture if black people never accepted biracials.
Also, but their argument could say if that was the case, how come there's a negative language towards light-skinned people? How come there's negative language towards biracials and mixed race people if they were accepted? If they were truly accepted, there shouldn't be no negative language towards them.
Oh, get out of here, radical.
I'm just saying. I'm using logic, bro. I'm just using logic.
Let me use logic for a minute. Go ahead. If it was ever a situation of mixed race people not looking down on black people, why was it a blue vein society? Why was it a brown paper bag test?
Mm-hmm.
If you want to get real, let's get real about that.
No, you're absolutely.
War, and they created
what happened?
Community, just like we're trying to do now. We're trying to create our own. Look, do you want to have to sit here and worry about, like, if you had to sit here and always had to worry about, oh, do biracial people accept me? Like, would you always want to have to worry about that shit all the time? No, that's why we want to create our own community. So it's like I don't have to worry about.
This sounds like an individual problem.
I just don't want to do that.
I don't know many other biracials that deal with this.
I want Kevin C to go. Kevin C, thanks for coming in. What is your thoughts on this whole thing?
Yeah, hey, sorry I missed the first part of the stream. I tried to go back and listen to some of the important points. But I've actually listened to. I think the young lady is Mrs. Magic or something.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I watch her channel.
You've been on my stream. I
Yeah.
just my name.
Yeah, and then I've kind of listened. I look at her stuff, and I popped in. I try not to comment too much on it because I'm not obviously I'm not biracial myself. But I did have some questions as we were having this conversation, and so and I speak to this with people that are mixed biracial, but and this is mainly for the people who have that that mixture. You got people who jump in and out of blackness. You got people who are white passing and don't know anything about black history, black culture. They don't interact with black people. And then you have biracial and mixed people who actually are who demonstrate questionable behavior. What are your thoughts on those people?
You want to go?
On those three questions.
What do you mean by questionable behavior?
Okay, so people like Amala Ekpunobi, she's biracial, but she speaks negatively on black people and black culture. And while she's basically being used by whites to actually denigrate and degrade and talk down on black people. She's basically a tool for supremacy.
Like Candace Owens.
Yeah, and we know about her.
And don't we call out Candace Owens all the time?
And Candace Owens can't come around real black people talking that nonsense because she gets shut down. Which the few times that she's tried it, she's been shut down every time.
Like, what is a real black person?
Meaning that people who actually understand what it means to be black and have to deal with it and understand all the issues and problems that go along with blackness, and they're actually fighting to actually resolve those issues against a larger society. Candace Owens does this thing.
At the end of the day,
no, he's talking about
it doesn't matter. Candace Owens is she's married white. She went over to
he's talking about FBA.
Listen to what I'm saying. Candace Owens married white. She went over to white people. She does all of this stuff. She talks negatively about black people. She doesn't denigrate white people at all. She's literally a tool for them. And because of that, she can't come in black circles and deal with us and try to talk to us and try to work anything out with us because she's basically working for the other side. And she's doing it and she's very open about it. So we don't fuck with her like that. And you have biracial and mixed people who do the exact same thing. They're just not as well known.
I ain't got nothing to do with that. I feel like, I'm biracial. I stay out of black and white people war. I don't want to have nothing to do with that. Honestly, like it's just none of my business. Honestly, that's how I feel. Like I don't know. That's just none of my business.
But you got people like Amala putting herself in it though, is what I'm saying. So I'm asking your thoughts.
I don't know, but that's the whole I know about her. She's like a right-wing conservative, and I don't really with the whole conservatives and the whole liberal war too. I stay out of that bullshit too. I don't really feel like that ain't really.
And I'm saying all of that. I'm asking you this, and I'm saying that because when people say, "Well, I'm not being accepted," well, we don't accept people like Amala. We don't accept Meghan Markle, Meghan Markle, who just decided she's black. She's like in her mid-40s. She just decided she was black because finally she actually got some real racism in her face, and she had to deal with it. See, so and this is it seems like it's trying to be avoided when it's really right there, and that's a problem.
Yeah, but you got to tell the whole story. That woman you're talking about, if I think I know you're talking about, she's like half Nigerian though.
Yeah.
So that's a completely.
Hey, Anthony, aren't you half Jamaican?
No, I'm not. I don't know what troll told you that. But at the end of the day, she's like half Nigerian. So the colorism issue and the racial issue and all that stuff with Black Americans and mixed whatever, that's a whole different cultural thing that we being Magic understand a lot more than this random person. I know who you're talking about, I think. Yeah. But I don't really watch her stuff. But I think she's like on that conservative stuff or whatever.
And to be fair, I've seen mixed race and biracial people who literally understand the history, the culture, the systemic issues, and all the stuff that Black people face as a collective. They're not working against the collective, is what I'm saying. So I'm telling you, because she's biracial, that's why she's being used, and she's agreeing to that. Same thing with Candace Owens, who's fully Black. But what I'm saying is that we know these people are being used, but it's almost like I mean, what I'm hearing is that, okay, well, I'm biracial, I'm not trying to get into that. Well, you guys are in it, whether you want to be or not.
That's the fabric of America. That's the fabric of America. We didn't make the game. We just playing it. It ain't. we didn't create this game. That's the funny thing about it. If you really want change and you want the mixed identity to be recognized, Try to see if you can get some political figures to speak on behalf of mixed people. Go to the government and see if you can get the laws changed to identify mixed people and make shows around mixed people's problems, mixed people culture, and everything else. That's the best way. But all I hear is a lot of black people bashing, and it seems like people respect white people more because they exclude people completely, and they part of the top power structure, and people really don't want to challenge.
To be fair, some of mixed people's problems is something that we're discussing right now, right? So that's the reason why I even had this type of panel, because I saw a camaraderie on the same issue, and that's the reason why we were talking about it. It wasn't black people bashing. If some people feel that way, that's on them. I can't choose how y'all feel about it, but at the end of the day, I don't think it's black people bashing. We're just speaking the truth about certain experiences and certain individuals that do what they do. That's all it is. You know, if people go ahead.
Yeah, the only thing I have an issue with is that, you know, when we want to identify as biracial, there's a lot of pushback from the black community. That's the only thing that I have an issue with. And yes, I do feel like everything you said was completely correct. You know, like, I don't want to be a part of it. I don't want to be part of this white versus black war. White, like, we all should be allies fighting against like white.
And let me ask some. I'm gonna ask something real quick. Hold up. To Kevin C. I'm gonna just go down the line. Kevin C. If Magic or Anthony, if they told you I don't identify as black, would you be offended by that, or would you see them as coonish or something like that?
No, I don't have an issue with it, but I'm going to ask the same question that I think I put to you before, which is, are you going to be that person that, you know, jumps in and out of blackness? Are you going to completely, you know, delineate yourself from blackness and remove yourself from it, and then be biracial and mixed, or are you going to, you know, pop in and out when it's convenient? That's going to be because that's going to be a sticking point for me.
To both of the races, so I'm gonna be biracial. I'm still connected and part of that.
Kamala Harris is biracial, and she's hugely
I'm not trying to
problematic.
completely isolate myself. Like, my mother's black, my sister's black. So
Isn't that the whole point of being biracial? Jumping in and out of space when you want to?
No. Look, I look at it like this: if I can't do it, then you can't do it. Meaning that either you.
That means that's jealous. That's jealousy.
Yeah, it sounds a little jealous.
That's just jealousy.
Because what you're doing is
it's basically saying, oh, okay, because somebody has money, they could buy this just because you could do it. How come I can't do it? You know what I'm saying?
That's a horrible comparison, Radical. Horrible.
Yeah,
that's not even comparison.
My bad.
Those are not comparable. Radical.
No, but my main thing is it just sounds like jealousy though.
No.
Ain't nothing to be jealous about. How are we jealous when we lead the culture of the United States?
Relax. I just said sounds like it. I'm not saying that it is. I just said it sounds like it. That's
okay,
all.
well, I'm telling you why it's not, because it's a racial construct that's fixed, that doesn't have to be there, that black people didn't put there, white people did. We got to put the blame where it belongs, by the way. White people did it, and when I say white people, I'm not talking about the good white people who don't have an issue with this and don't make this a problem. I'm talking about the white-led United States government and the people who run it.
Got it.
They put that there. They put those constructs there for a reason, and they use those constructs and they pull people in and out, and they offer benefits to people based on race and all this other
who
stuff.
cares if a
That's
biracial?
not black people doing that.
But who cares if a biracial or multiracial mixed person jumps in and out of blackness whenever they feel like it? Who cares?
What do you mean?
Because the whole point of that is to get the benefits that's being.
What do you mean jump in?
So let them get the benefits. Who cares?
What you mean, Radical? We're not going to do that with our group. Like,
no, who cares? If somebody, no, I'm just saying.
We care. We care.
It sounds like jealousy because it sounds let me just say, if somebody's gonna get, hold on, if somebody's gonna get benefits because they're half white, let them get benefits. Why do you care about that? Because now because I can't do it. Come on now.
No. It's not that.
I'll explain. Hold on one second.
Let them get their benefits from whatever side that they want to.
Radical, I want you to know how wrong you are for saying that, but go ahead.
Yeah,
I don't know how.
Okay,
but tell me.
Let somebody explain it.
Explain. Go ahead.
First and foremost, if they ask me, I don't identify with blackness, that's cool. Are you opposition or you an ally? One of the two. It's just that simple. Are you opposition or you an ally?
That's not what dudes are saying, though.
That's not what we're talking. That's not nothing that have to do with benefits, bro.
No. Radical, I think
that had no. That had nothing to do with benefits.
Talking about it didn't have anything to do with benefits.
That had literally nothing to do with benefits. If you're talking about jumping in and out of blackness because it benefits you, how is that even talking about being an ally? Where in that conversation did that have anything to do with being an ally?
Well, if you let me finish, I can tell you, Radical.
But
go ahead.
okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
We need to hear this, man.
First and foremost, if you're not working with black people and you working against black people, who in the fuck would want you to jump in and out of their group? That doesn't even make any sense. If it was Latinos that was working against the Latinos agenda or against Latinos against them trying to progress, won't you have a problem with that?
Again, that makes no sense because you're talking about progression. We're talking about benefits. So if you're talking about somebody going to a corporation between a biracial person and just a monoracial person, and the biracial person just gets it because they're biracial, okay, so what? They got it.
So
they
what?
didn't choose.
It's
They didn't.
unfair.
No, they didn't choose that. The
No,
people
but they
hiring. No,
accepted
no, no, no. The people hiring chose it. It's, exactly, they accepted. Roy Chess, are you going to pay their bills?
No, but
it's
Exactly.
unfair.
So don't-
Radical,
don't-
Radical.
I'm gonna tell you,
all I'm saying is because that thing didn't make no sense.
Radical has a point.
Don't tell me you're gonna go and get some benefits like work, like something that's actually gonna benefit you. Comparing that to the struggles of black folks, don't do that. That makes literally no sense, and you know that doesn't make any sense because wait.
Check this out.
Jumping in and out of blackness means I am black here, so I could get some benefits to help my family out. Oh, okay, I'm gonna be white the next, so I could help my family out. Has nothing to do with the black community getting disenfranchised whatsoever. If you see still that person jumping in and out of blackness, but still marching right next to you, still fighting for the same thing, has nothing to do with anything.
Okay,
They're still helping out though.
All right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I agree.
The
I agree
mindset,
with that. I
the
agree.
mindset
If
is
I'm wrong, if I was
inconsistent. That's
wrong
what
on
he's
that,
trying to
then I
say.
agree.
That's what he's trying to say. That would be better put. Is that the mindset is inconsistent? You can't be a captain of two ships and only jump when it benefits you. You cannot reason by convenience.
Wait, hold up. You're absolutely right. You can be a captain of two ships. You're absolutely right. But if one ship is not going to benefit you and you're getting benefits from the other ship, might as well jump in.
Right.
No. That's exactly what I'm talking about. We have to really stop this righteous BS talking about just jumping in and out of blackness when the benefits you like it's something bad. At the end of the day, because it's not, because you're not going to pay them bills. You're not going to benefit that. Roy says, can you tell me when the last time you actually helped somebody's bills out because they jumped in and out of blackness and you didn't want them to do that?
Okay, so
exactly.
Radical.
So my
Radical.
point is, don't become righteous and don't become a big person. So all right, that's bad and all that other stuff. When y'all don't even have the power to even give them benefits. If the black community had benefits, nobody would have been jumping in our blackness. Let's keep it 1,000.
Real quick. What I think they're referring to is when he says jumping in and out, reparations is the first example that came to my mind. So if you claim to be, let's say, Latino, and then you claim to be black, and you're getting reparations, but I thought you were Latino. That's what he's talking about, I think. Is that correct?
Well, not just that, too. You got people like Kamala Ekpanobi literally working against the black collective. That's
what he's talking about. He's talking about people jumping in when it's convenient.
Okay.
Look,
that's something y'all can fix in literally one day.
How?
You know how?
Us.
You know how? Voting. I bet you that lady, whoever that lady is somebody people voted in, right? Next time, don't vote her in.
No, we're not talking about the lady. We're talking about reparations.
Now you're talking about reparations. I think there's a classification about you got to be identifying as black a certain amount of years. Like so that's already fixed. So that whole jumping in our blackness, that's fixed already.
No, honestly, I don't agree with you, Radical, because I don't want to jump in and out of blackness. I just want to have my own solidified identity, so I don't have to jump here, there, everywhere. I could just build up my own identity and just benefit from.
And that's good. No, that's good. And I'm not against that. No, that's 100%. That's 100% great, and I'm not against that. But they will see that. Other people will see that as jumping in and out of blackness. Other people would see that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I want to know what is jumping in and out of blackness.
It means being inconsistent. That's what it means. Being inconsistent.
Consistent, like with what?
Meaning that you talk bad about the black community because now you're white now, and then when black people get benefits, now you're black now, give me my reparations. But
Right,
then
that's
tomorrow,
inconsistent, right.
that's what they mean by that. But that makes no type of
That
sense.
doesn't make any sense.
Exactly.
Yes, it
It makes no
does. It's
it makes no
inconsistent.
type of sense.
Consistent with what? If you're saying you're mixed
it's
every
not.
single
It's
day,
No,
that is
wait, check,
consistent.
but check this out. But check this out. But check this out, Roy Chess. Didn't y'all just say a couple of minutes ago, y'all call y'all people out? So if somebody jumps in out of blackness, does it really matter? Because
Yeah. Oh, by the way, that woman actually, she gets a lot of hell for what she's doing.
Oh, so y'all call them out. So y'all already fixed it. Y'all fixed it. So it is what it is. Y'all got it. So what it is. So it doesn't really matter who jumps in out of blackness because y'all got it.
But you guys are asking why is there animosity? That's actually part of the reason. And for Amala, and people like her, she doesn't see it as a problem, but that's why she does it. And because she does it because she gets benefits for doing that from people who can give it to her. Now.
Wait, what you mean by that?
Now, we can get into why she does what she does and why she can get more benefits from white people versus black people and how that came about. But the whole thing is that look, either you're and this is not just her too, by the way. This is people like her, Candace Owens, Larry Elder, DeVrandon Tatum, and all the other stuff. They're all doing the same thing. It's just that they're literally using her proximity to whiteness because she's biracial as more of a buffer and a tool. That's all I'm saying. And then you guys are trying to say that, well, black people aren't accepting you. Well, that would be one of the reasons. That's all I'm saying.
Kevin, I get what you're saying. Like, I'm totally against that. I don't want us biracial people to be used as a pawn for white supremacy. I'm tired of us always being used on this side for some agenda and then used on this side. I just want to be my fucking self and just have my own shit going. I have my own agendas and not always being used by somebody else's agendas. So that's what I want.
And also, what one biracial person does doesn't mean that person represents the whole community.
No, absolutely not. I'm putting that on her. I'm putting that on the people who actually do it. I'm not putting that on everybody.
That some biracial people are being used by white supremacy, and I'm against that. I don't want to be used by somebody else's agenda all the fucking time. That's the whole point of us having our own identity and our own. So we don't always got to be used as pawns everywhere by whoever. Well, I just want to be myself and not be used. Biracial people have always been used. We're sick of being fucking used all the time by somebody else. That's the whole point.
Okay, so let me ask you this though, because is there some way that black people are using you versus how white people would be using a biracial or mixed person? Is there a difference there?
We fought for black people as well. We fought for black, and I'm proud of that. I take pride in that we fought for the black community. But like I said, we get turned around and get disrespected for it. Like, people don't really respect biracial people, even though historically we have been fighting for the black community. But our identity as mixed is not respected within the black community, and so that's what I'm fighting for. I just want the black community to respect mixed race identity. That's all I want. That's all I ask for. So.
Well, here's the thing: it hasn't been respected. The mixed identity hasn't been respected in the black community because it hasn't historically been any mixed race identity in the black community.
That is wrong. That is absolutely wrong what you just said.
No, it isn't.
I mean, a lot of the times they've been accepted as black.
That is wrong what you were just saying.
Let me finish. The only thing I would say, when it was a mixed race identity, it was used as a buffer class for the black community. Just like the Creoles in New Orleans, just like the laws that was passed in Virginia, different things like that. Other than that, most black people just view mixed people as part of the community.
Okay, but we want an identity that's not being used as like a buffer class or this or that or that. We don't want to be used anymore. We're tired of being used by
I get that, Magical. That's why you got to take that up with white people. They're the ones, the government is the ones that created the laws, not us.
Okay. We will take it up with white people. We got to take it up with white people. I understand that. We'll do that. We got to change the laws.
But again, this is what I'm trying to say. I think Anthony, me, and Magic even said that. Okay, we could take it up with white folks, but who upholds the things that white folks are saying? Black folks as well.
Like the one drop rule and shit.
We have to be honest here. Black folks white folks could be like, okay, y'all biracial. Next census, y'all biracial.
But
that's
this
great.
How are we gonna take it up with them?
Okay, so Radical,
you would still have black Americans, certain black Americans, not all, but certain black Americans dogging down light skinned biracial people, calling them soft, this and all that.
That's different though.
I never said it was racism. I never said that. So you would still hear derogatory things towards biracial, mixed race, light skin
Yeah,
folks. So
why would you think that is, Radical?
That's different.
Why would you think that is, Radical? You don't
because
think that?
what?
Why do you think that is? Why do you think that way? Why do you think?
Because y'all copying white people.
We copying white people.
Yeah, y'all copy white people.
You don't think that
true.
may been
it's kind of true because in America, white folks have an inkling of blackness and black folks have an inkling of whiteness. Y'all copy each other's racism. It's true.
No, that's not true.
No,
it's true. Have you seen FBA how they treat other black folks? Come on now, we have to be real about that.
Let's keep it real. Okay, wait. Hold up. Let's keep it real all aboard. Why do you think FBA came about, Radical?
Oh, because of grift.
Because of grift. So
yeah.
So Caribbeans or other people from African countries haven't historically been coming down here, looking down on black people and shitting on black people for some time. Those reasonings was not there before FBA. Tariq Nasheed just created that out his ass. He just pulled that out his ass.
Caribbeans and Africans didn't make a fake group called whatever BA and necessarily shit on black Americans. That was an individualistic type of thing. That
was a cultural thing.
That's not a cultural thing. That's an individualistic type of thing. Because if it was a cultural thing, there would have never been a Pan-African movement.
No, that
it was a Pan-African movement that started here in America. You kidding me?
You missed the point. You missed the point.
Come on,
bro. You missed the point.
Okay,
I said if it was a cultural thing that Africans looked down on black Americans and it was a cultural thing and everybody thought about it, there will never be a Pan-African movement.
Okay, so
they still do it. They still do it.
We have to be honest about that.
We're being honest, Radical. You're not being honest. We're being honest.
Wait. The thing about it is, we have to be real. If there's certain Africans that do that, of course, I'm not denying that. But y'all make it seem like that's the whole goddamn continent.
No, it's not. It's not everybody, but the
better
off ones do.
That's the continent. For the ones that show respect, I got love. Nothing but love.
And that's the majority.
Let me finish. That's not.
Go ahead.
When you have people that come here, the reason why it hasn't been any of that where it's been a group is because they under the umbrella of Black Americans. So let's get that straight out the bat. When a lot of people come here and they shit on Black Americans, they bring that elitism and that tribalism to the United States and they shit on Black Americans, but at the same time, under the umbrella of Black Americans, were they able to get benefits or get certain jobs just to fill up a quota? That's a problem. That's a problem. You're muted.
Oh, you're right. My fault. Yeah, no, you're right. That is a problem. But
that's the only thing I'm saying.
No, but also we can't just say one-sided. Black Americans don't stay shut. Y'all hear some fucked up shit, y'all gonna respond right back. It's a back and forth type of thing. I never said somebody started it first. Africans did. I never said that.
No, they started it
all
first.
I'm saying, who cares who started it first? The thing is
no, Radical. It's important who started it.
The thing
so
is,
the Haitians started it first in Miami.
So, the thing is that we have to be real. That why did Black Americans start with the whole racism thing against biracial people and all that other stuff? Because y'all copy white folks. We just have to be real about that.
No, we didn't. No. It didn't start there.
Why?
It didn't start.
Where did it start?
Radical, do you read? Do you read?
No, where did it start then?
Do you read Black history?
Where did it start shitting on other groups? When did it start being disrespectful to other groups? Didn't white people invent that?
Yeah, Radical. You don't read too much, man.
Okay, don't just say he doesn't read. Look, Radical. About the 1960s and earlier. Anybody who was biracial or mixed and that was part of the Black collective, they were fine. And Miss Magical is right. They did everything they needed to do in order to be a part of the collective and actually progress the group. You get past that time frame, then things started to shift. That was the same thing with the immigrants as well. Well, immigrants of African and Caribbean descent. Now, let me be clear. These are just the ones that are highly visible and I'm not going to put this on the entire group because I want to be very careful about that. But we do have immigrants of African and Caribbean descent, and do have some mixed and biracial folks, and black people too, dark-skinned black ones, that are literally doing things that go against the group. That was a major shift. Yeah, by the time you get to 1980s, definitely going into the 90s, you start to see it. Now it's very prominent in the 2000s, going into the 21st century. Like, it's very prominent now.
Going against the group? Hold on.
Yeah,
you know
going
why?
against the black collective.
No. Black.
How
look,
so?
I identified black my whole life. Okay.
Yeah,
And
we're
then
not.
I
I want magic. I don't want to personalize it to you. You're good. You're good. We got you. What I'm saying is that there are people who have done that. There was a biracial woman who literally was speaking. I forget her name, doggone it. But she literally there's literally a video of her calling Dr. King troublesome, talking about how much of a problem he is. She identified herself as a Negro woman, but she back in the 1960s, she identified herself as a Negro woman, but she was speaking on behalf of black people, but she was doing it for white people.
Black people
that's
say
all
that.
I'm saying.
The worst thing that happened to us, we were doing better during segregation. Black people say that all the time. So
no, I didn't say that. I didn't say that at all. I said there was a biracial woman who literally was white passing or almost white. She was openly speaking against Dr. King while he was doing his work.
Okay,
right,
and
so
what's your point? There was like 4 black men that killed Malcolm X.
Okay, so who orchestrated that?
But they did it. You're gonna blame white people forever?
Yeah, absolutely, because they have to orchestrate that.
It was black people that pulled the trigger.
We're not going to do this thing where we just put it
black
on.
People pulled the trigger.
We get it. The black men who did that. We understand that the black men who did that, so that way they got the blame. But there was also, NYPD who was behind that, and you also know there was a witness who came out and said, "Look, even though he was black, he was actually forced and coerced into doing that."
Oh my God!
Wait, real quick.
Whoa, you telling me that doesn't count?
Wait.
I want to stay on that because
I like how you just disregard that, Anthony. I like how you just disregarded that.
No, Anthony, are you going to disregard that?
He was forced to go.
Hold on. I want you guys.
He was.
I want you guys to answer Kevin, but give me a minute because I got people in the back. Give me a minute. Just give me a minute. I got Tragic J. What's going on? Yo, Tragic J.
Yo, he cool.
He cool? You sure?
Yeah, he cool. I think that's magic.
That's yeah. I know.
Oh, okay. I got Kofi Black and Georgia. Oh, Georgia. Okay. Oh, damn. I can't.
Can y'all hear me clearly?
Yeah, we can hear you clearly. What's up, bro? Yo.
Yeah, what's up?
Yo, what's up? Real quick, I want Tragic J to go. Tragic, we can hear you. What's up, bro? Yo.
Is he muted now?
No, he's not muted. Well, Tragic, just come back when you got your stuff together. Kofi, what's going on, bro?
Yeah, what's up, man? What's up, RL? What's up?
Tell me what you think about this whole conversation, and then I'm gonna have Anthony and Magic respond back to Kevin. What you think about this whole conversation?
Well, I just heard about like the last 3 minutes of it, and it's basically like the same old FBA bullshit of benign neglect. Now, I'm going to be transparent here. You know, I am from the Caribbean. I grew up here. So the problem that I always say is like anyone you talk to me right now, you wouldn't know what I am, right? We never had that problem in our community, right? With Tariq Nasheed and with the help of Yvette Carnell did it first. It was a bash debate, a situation that was for no reason except for giving Tariq money. So the people that call themselves FBA, in my opinion, in my encounter with them, are pretty, unintelligent, unlearned people. Because the talking points that Tariq Nasheed has, if anyone understands history, American history, would know that. So the whole thing that I've heard that I want to address is the who started it and who this and all that. One thing you said, Rad, that was very important, that you have a level of black people. So the racism that we're seeing right now is a racism that black people are copying from white people. It's very evident. Anyone that's been around, you be on Twitter, you see what Tariq is saying. They're saying that's taking the same white racist talking points verbatim. And you also use a talking point that I use all the time. I used to follow Tariq, so this is not coming from like a biased standpoint or point. I used to follow him till he switched over to the whole xenophobic thing, right? A lot of people could say that. And I said there was never, ever, ever a group online that dedicated, it took shots at Black Americans all the time. There was no group of Haitians, no group of Caribbeans, no group of Africans made it their business every day. And now this bullshit that they're fucking doing that I hate, after Tariq was doing this for like 3 years, 2-3 years, unprovoked. Now everybody want to be on some start crying wolf. They throwing rocks for 3 years and now they hiding their hand. I don't play that shit. So I'm gonna let so they can say whatever the hell they want. Either they never followed Tariq Nasheed to its entirety, or they just don't know. Right? I spoke about this on my channel many a times. Right? So
I'll
that's why I
say that.
want
I
to say
never
that.
followed him. I never followed him in the entirety. I only know him from Hidden Colors. Other than that, I didn't know much about Tariq.
All right, brother. At least you're honest. I appreciate that. But when he was on his Hidden Colors thing, he wasn't really taking shots. And this is the thing: how are you making money off of Africans and Caribbeans and our history, and all of a sudden we ain't shit? Like that makes no sense. And even in the Hidden Scam Museum, everyone he has in the Hidden Scam Museum are Pan-Africanists. Dr. Henry Clark, Dr. Ben, Dr. Asa Hilliard, Francis Cress Welsing, all those are Pan-Africanists. I don't understand. That's what I'm saying. These are low-level, intellectual people, because it makes no sense. You can't. You know what I'm saying? You can't be. You question a African and a Caribbean's blackness, and you got a white mother-in-law up in your goddamn house. My whole family. Look, I have some family members that they date outside their race or whatever, but they ain't claiming to be the leader of black people, or trying to. Or, you know what I'm saying? They're not doing that. I got a whole black ass family.
Yeah,
but according to the Tariq Nasheed, I'm no good because I have Caribbean lineage. That's stupid.
Yeah. Yo, Kofi, let me ask you something right quick.
Yeah.
Because you say that you're from the Caribbean. Half of me is from Dominican Republic. Caribbean too. And this is something I've been saying. I don't know if you experienced this. So, but since you live in the Caribbean, I think you did. But in the Caribbean, we don't identify with race. We identify with mixture.
We identify by island designation, and which basically ties us with the culture on that particular island.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. And so when we come here and we hear race is a foreign concept to us.
Yes.
It's something different. So a lot of Latinos or Caribbeans, right, who leave that race part blank, right? It's been common practice for people to just the workers go on and just check white. So there's been a lot of people that didn't know that or are oblivious to that. So I just want to make that perfect
because they were not educated of that, right? That's why they don't know.
No, they were told. No, they're told. It's common practice. They're told, like in hospitals, police precincts.
Yeah, but they're told right then and there. They're not.
No, they're not. No, they're not told right then and there. This is part of training. If they leave that part blank, in the Caribbean or Latino part, put white. It's part of their training. So they're told.
So you're in the Caribbean learning that?
No, I didn't say the Caribbean. I said the workers. It's common practice. The workers.
What I'm asking you is, where are they located? Are they in the Caribbean and being taught that, or are they in America?
I never said Caribbeans are being taught that. I'm talking about it's been common practice when they leave that part blank for the workers to check in white.
But what I'm asking you is, what location are you talking about? Are you talking about in America or in the
Caribbean?
America?
In America.
But are they educated on what race means?
No, they're not educated. They just
so they don't know. They just don't understand what race means.
Yeah, exactly. But they just told that, which is kind of messed up because it messes up the numbers.
Right. I get what you're saying, but you do understand that that's where part of the confusion is.
Of course, that's my main point on it. Yeah, I know.
Right. Can I just address the what is his name? The guy who was just speaking.
Kofi.
Okay, so there was a couple of things that there's issues here, right? So FBA is not just a term that Tariq Nasheed made up. FBA is a concept that's been around for a long time. He just made it popularized. So there was what Rakim was saying before was there was a culture before that people from the Caribbean and other immigrants would come to America and disrespect black people once they get ahead of them. So you would come to America, get in the same projects and buildings that blacks live in America, and then you get a hand up on the Pookie and Ray Rays from the hood, and then you talk bad about black people, and then you say, this is what black Americans are making that distinction by FBA for in the first place.
Roches, can you name that culture that
Yeah,
that,
yeah, because
that you're talking about?
Oh,
Can you name
that's
it?
all of them.
No,
no.
okay.
Well, see,
Can
well,
you name it? There's a name.
I'm going to stop you right there.
Every
Because you said this,
real quick. Every culture, every practice that anybody does has a name. So what's the name of that part of that culture that they like to disrespect black folks?
What do you mean?
Elitism and tribalism.
Yeah, that's an
that
American
goes
term.
for everybody.
That's an American term. So what is the name that is known by that? Then is all bullshit.
No, it's not.
Coffee. Go right ahead, bro.
You can't say
Yeah,
that.
so I'm gonna. So this is how they're failures. This is with the train of thought. The problem is you're using everybody with a broad brush. Since me being Caribbean, and I know other Caribbean people, to my extent, right? I've got more backlash from Black Americans, right? But I'm not so, not saying you. I'm saying that the ideology. I'm not so narrow minded to say, well, you know what? All of y'all are like that. But I don't.
No.
I have Black Americans in my family, and if I mention things like this, they'll be disgusted because they know.
Let me explain.
But hold on. And I'm gonna. So that's not true. I know. I think it was 2008. I took a census. No, I didn't think there was a census, and it was a census when I lived in Florida at this time, right? They had a census and a guy going around. They had a bunch of categories. You have black, white, non-Hispanic, yada 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 yada, and they had a box that said colored. I was like, yo, what the? I always check off black or African descent. I asked the guy doing the census, I'm like, yo, why is there color? And he saw that like, oh my God. He was like, okay, there was a group of black people who do not consider in America, who do not consider themselves black or African American. They consider themselves colored. These people are still stuck in the early 1900s, right? What I'm saying that to say is that, which is understandable, even black people, because Caribbean people are a part of diaspora, just like Black Americans. We have more similarities than differences, but if you listen to fools like Tariq Nasheed, you wouldn't know that. I understand that Black Americans have an identity crisis. That's why we went from the white man gave you the name, you don't want to be African, right? So the white man gave you nigger, right? And we went from nigger to Negro, from Negro to colored. Right?
That's
and then y'all saying y'all not African. So if you're not African, use a goddamn fucking nigga. I don't mean to curse on your joint, but
no, that's not correct. That's not what the NGI word means. The NGI,
what is this gentleman talking about? I'm not.
The N word that you use does not refer.
Yeah, I don't know what he's talking about.
Wait. So okay. So let me ask you a quick question. What is your ethnicity then?
My ethnicity is American.
No, that's your nationality, brother.
No, that's my ethnicity.
No. So you have the same ethnicity as a white, Irish, Italian, Anglo-Saxon is what you're telling me?
Yes, that's the same ethnic group. Yes.
No, you're not.
Okay,
no, you're
so
not.
everything makes sense.
No,
You got it. Everything makes sense. So,
no, you're not, because
so Black Americans have the same ethnicity.
You're not
as white people.
Let me
what?
It all makes sense now.
Let me specify, because you have so many concepts wrong. It's not funny. First of all, older generations of FBA will tell you, like Kevin C is of their age, and Rakim mentioned it. Like I said, that there were people who were Caribbean descent who had certain names. FBA used to call them certain names. For example, do you know what the word coconut meant? It used to mean something.
Yes, I know that. I had Black Americans that didn't know, thought I was American, used to call Caribbean coconut. Yes.
No. It was strictly for Jamaicans. It wasn't just like for somebody from the Bahamas or something. It was strictly for Jamaicans.
It was for all people that was from the Caribbean.
No, it wasn't. No,
I lived in New York. You can't tell me. I live in New York.
I live in New York too.
All right, then. So people will call me that, and they assume you're a Jamaican. It's just like FBA assume. That's why FBA assume that everybody is African. Everyone that's African is Nigerian. You know what I'm saying? I see that too. When someone say FBA and I talk about FBA, they call me African. And they say I'm Nigerian.
I see your point there, but that still doesn't change that the culture existed. There were cultural differences where that reason why that existed is because they thought they were better than the Black Americans in the hood.
That's your
That's
experience.
not my
That's not a
opinion.
fact.
What?
That's
Of course,
your
I didn't
opinion.
experience it. Of course, I didn't experience it. I'm telling you, the older generation did. That's why they were called that. That's why FBA have names for those people, right? I don't know all the other ones, right? I'm giving you an example that we can trace
Can we
back.
get back on topic? Like we were trying to talk about mixed biracial people. Like,
Right,
can we
right,
get
but
back on topic?
yes.
I wanted to address Kevin. Okay, Kevin, I just got a question for you. So, do you feel that biracial people identifying as biracial people and just trying to like give out ourselves on agenda, do you feel that that is against Black people? That's my question for you.
Okay, so you got to answer. Some people said something. Can you answer the question again, real succinctly?
So do you feel that if biracial people, if they identify as biracial, like, because there's this new wave of like mixed people identifying as biracial because of the gatekeeping, because of Black people saying that we're not Black, so we're like, okay, we'll be biracial then, we're mixed. So do you feel that that is against, if we do identify as biracial and start building our own communities, our own culture, and our own thing, do you feel like that will be against Black people? Because that's why some people don't want us to identify as
absolutely
biracial.
not. You guys are good doing that. You guys are good doing that. There's nothing wrong with that. The only issue would be if, you know, because I like the work that you do, and I like what you're trying to do. And I think Miss Magical has the right idea about how it should be done and what she's trying to go towards. The only thing is that, like I said, there are people, and again, biracial, mixed, even dark-skinned Black people working collectively against the group. And when people say, well, you guys are, you know, we don't accept, you know, the mixed folks, that's not true. The reason is that there's something wrong, or somebody's doing something wrong. The reason, you know, you had a lot of women all on board with Meghan Markle and her getting married. Then all of a sudden, you know, she's in her mid-40s now. She says, because she finally got some real racism in her life, all of a sudden she knows what it feels like to be Black. That's a problem. That's literally a problem. You got Kamala Harris jumping in and out of Blackness.
Wait, hold on. Wait.
That's
Let
a
me,
problem.
Kevin, how is that a problem that you realizes that now? How is that a problem to you?
It's a problem because the thing is that she could have just had done that from the very beginning and made and you know, put herself in a position with her visibility and all the other stuff in order to actually work against that. But that's not what she did. She went out of her way to say that she went out of, see, Meghan Markle has gone out of her way to say, and it's not just her, it's people like her. She's an avatar for people who are behaving that way. She's gone out of her way to say that she's biracial. Now today she's Black after suddenly getting some real racism.
I agree with Kevin.
That's not how it works.
I agree with Kevin, though. I agree with Kevin. Can I put my 2 cents in with that?
Because when Black people get racism, dark-skinned Black people get racism, we can't jump in and out of it, and we can't make that shift. We can't do what Kamala Harris does, which is, I'm going to show up for Juneteenth and what's the other one? And Kwanzaa, and then, you know, be Jewish or whatever it is she's doing the rest of the year, or Asian. That's literally what she does. They're wrong for doing that. So
how is she wrong for doing that if she's half Asian?
Because can I put my 2 cents in?
Yeah, can somebody else explain this?
Yeah, this is the thing with that I have with biracial people, and this is happening since slavery, and y'all don't understand the games being played, right? There's a game of war being played, and y'all playing Candyland. Biracial people, even on the plantation, even to this day, has been used against Black people. Against Black people. When biracial people and the boule, all right, are never accepted in white circles. Right?
Can I say something?
Hold. I'm about to bring him in.
Wait. Let Coffee talk, and then I think I believe Tragic J is gonna come in, and then I want Magic to finish. So Coffee, go ahead.
White people, this is historic. This is historical socialism is going on right here. Historically, what happened? White mulattoes have always been used against Black people, right? If anyone knows, most likely if there's a mulatto, a Black and a white child, that child is always accepted within the Black community and his son from the white community. If anyone know anything about the boule and what was going on in Louisiana, white people have never totally accepted mixed people within their ranks. Why? Because they're gatekeeping their culture versus Black people who are just naturally loving, and they will accept those biracial people and consider them Black, right? The white people consider them Black. We're the only people on earth that do that. We're the only people on earth that do that. That's why they're very good gatekeepers. And what Kevin was saying is exactly right. You have look, if you're biracial, it's your choice. Only you know who you are and what you consider yourself, and that is your right. The problem within the culture is that if we accept you in our culture, right? Are you going to undermine our culture? If I have let's take race out of the situation. If you have a club and your club is for Giants fans, right? You're not going to accept any Jets fans inside the damn club. It's very simple.
Cool. I think you should.
You know what I'm saying? The whole all we're trying to say is
we're not even making that argument. That's a completely different video.
Like, I agree with you. Look, everything you're telling me is nothing new. Like, I understand. We get treated like we don't know our history. We don't know like what's going on. We understand exactly what's going on, and we don't want to be used. We just want to have our own community, our own culture, our own little team or whatever. We're not invited on this team. That's cool. I'm not begging for acceptance from nobody. Like, I'm grateful for the Black community that they have been very accepting. That's wonderful. That's great. But at the same time, it's like I don't want to have to always worry about acceptance. I just want to have to do me. I just want to have my own shit going on. That's what we don't want to be used. That's the whole point of what we're saying. So I want
but it's not the Black community that's using you. If you consider yourself Black, right?
Yes, white people have used us. I understand that. It's like I just don't want to be used by nobody, by white people, by no fucking body. So,
yeah,
but I'm saying, but if you consider, if I understand, you don't want to be used by white people, but I'm saying Black people are just naturally more accepting of biracial people, or we have a lot of biracial leaders within our ranks. That you can't say the same for white people. So, but when you make your own club, it's like you saying you don't want nothing to do with Black people.
Wait, actually, hold on, wait, Kofi. To be fair,
yeah.
Of course, there won't be no biracial leaders or anybody in the white area because in the right.
No, that's not right.
Any leader in
that's
the
not
white.
right. What you just said.
I'm
There are
just saying.
plenty of mixed race.
Wait. I'm just saying. In the white leaders, the first thing I'm thinking about is KKK and pro white. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you're talking about ethnic groups like Irish, Italian, then okay, I see your point, and I believe they might be. I don't know, but when you're talking about the pro-Black space is way different than the pro-white space. You understand? It's very, very, very different. And I think we all know that. I'm sorry to cut you off, but I want Tragic J to come because he kept coming in and out, and I want to hear that his side. So Tragic J, what's going on?
What's up?
What up? We could hear you. Finally hear you. Okay, give me your point of view, bro.
All right. I don't know about wasn't Obama a biracial leader for white people?
Okay.
But anyway, to the argument, jumping in and out of Blackness, to be fair, that's not really biracial people's fault because we never asked to be Black. That's something that was put on us, the one drop rule. So they confirmed to this binary racial construct of just Black and white, where that's the only thing you could pick. So they created this world where we can jump in and out. So again, that's their creation and they're complaining about what they created.
Okay, so who's they?
Drop a bomb for that.
Everybody
you said they, so you gotta be
you and everybody who's confirming to this Black and white racial construct in America. That is they. Everybody that confirms to that. Everybody that and you talk about like white people creating a one drop rule, but let's not pretend like Black people don't have political power. Because a lot of laws and a lot of rules in America have changed because of Black people, because they have political power. So I think that we should be taking it up with both white people and Black people when it comes to the one drop rule, because you both.
It's not the one drop rule. That's not correct. That race existed before the one drop rule.
All right, here comes the scientists. All right.
No, he's right.
I'm not saying that race.
The stars and the stripes.
No, but he's right though. Racism was a thing before the one drop rule. He's absolutely right.
I'm not talking about
but
one drop rule.
He's talking about modern days. Nobody's talking about back in the day. He's talking about modern days and the rule that they made, the one drop rule. They made that a rule. You know what I'm saying?
Right, but that's nothing to do with race.
That has everything to do with race.
Of course, you have to do with race. Of course, you have to do with race.
I think it's tragic. Jay who just said this, and I gotta tell you why you're wrong, or at least I gotta challenge him on what you just said. Look, if Black people had the power, the real political power, to shut all of this down, they would have done that. All right, because
I'm not saying you have all the power. I'm saying you got some power.
Politics is have the economics, resources, and actual power to make the laws. As far as black people are concerned, all of this racial construct where somebody benefits and gets privileges just off of skin tone and off of a specific racial group, that would have been done away with. The whole point is to actually compete fairly on an even and fair playing field without regard to race, right? That's what capitalism is. That's what fair play and equality is. That's not what's happening in America. And I can guarantee you, I can almost guarantee, I'm not gonna say 100%, but I can give you like a 98% guarantee that if we could actually eliminate that, then we would, because it affects black people the most. All right, especially dark skin. The darker you go, the worse it gets. That's just how it is.
Y'all got
in
full
America.
power. I say y'all got some power. Like laws have changed because of black people, right?
Well, okay, understand something. The reason stuff changes in America is not because of political power, it's because black people are out in the street like tearing stuff up, burning things down, and beating people up, and actually harming people in retaliation for the abuse that they get. That's how things get changed.
That's warfare.
That's how you get a civil rights movement. That's how you get a black power movement. That's how you get stuff like the BLM, the good movement, not the organization. I'm talking about the grassroots level movement. Right? That's how you get all of that stuff, because black people are being oppressed, abused, and mistreated in some way. So the retaliation for that is we got to beat you back. We got to fight back, literally physically fight back, or tear some stuff up. That's how stuff gets changed. Nothing's ever gotten changed just based off politics or just based off of well, this is the right thing we should be doing. Because if people actually did that from the beginning, then there would have been no need for a civil rights movement. We'd have had all the rights we should have had either in the 1600s or at least in 1865 going forward, right?
That's still all politics, though. No matter how you do it, rioting is a form of protesting.
It is. Well, one of the reasons that slavery ended, it was becoming an economic liability, but you know what? But another reason, because black people were getting tired of being enslaved, and there was rebellions like every other week or every few weeks or every few months, like major rebellions. That's another reason that enslavement actually ended. And that's why it had to come to an end. Hell, the biggest one that came out of that was the Civil War. That was the biggest.
My point is that you have political power. That was my point.
I get all of that, but what I'm telling you is that there's a group that has more political power to actually force legislation and laws and rules on everybody else, and they enforce that violently, right? Because I just want to make that distinction, because if we could shut this down, we would have.
Yeah, we're saying you're not the most politically powerful people. We know that white people are, because this is a majority white country, but you still have some political power. You do.
Yeah. I agree with that. I just want to, because when people say that, it sounds like they're saying, well, you have the same power as everybody else, and that's just
no. Look, we know
this is my point. You're saying that white people got more power, right? And if we want to identify as biracial, have our own race, our own box, whatever, we got to take it over white people. We could do that. But first, you got to get out the way. You got to stop calling us black. You're in the way. You're getting in the way before we can even.
No, that's
you
backwards.
Can be biracial and
that's
mixed all you
backwards.
want.
How are you supposed to get to that when you're in the way,
dude? You can say you're biracial all day long, and we ain't gonna stop you. I guarantee it.
A lot of people do push back.
No. I tell you what. Some people will. They'll fight it. I want to say something real quick. I think y'all are missing the point that you got mixed race, biracial. So flat blackness is not going to be a thing in the next 20, 30 years. And you know why? Because
everybody's mixing.
I was talking to somebody. There was somebody talking about she's Italian, German, Cherokee, and black, and she's very white presenting, very, very white, and that's something that white people are starting to do. Like they're not even close to looking mixed or presenting mixed or biracial in any way. They're absolutely straight up white. So that's going to have to actually get fleshed out, and I guarantee, and I can see black people actually fighting against that. And I would see there's going to be less issues with mixed race and biracial folk. The issue is going to be more with people who are running around here, white passing, talking about they're black.
Us as biracial people, we can't go based off, like, look at my son. My son is very white presenting, but he's 50% because both of his parents are biracial. But us as a biracial community, we can't really go based off skin color because we got so many different types of phenotypes.
Look, no, that's a fact. My dad looks like, bro. My dad looks. No, that's a fact.
It doesn't work for us. Like, it doesn't work.
My dad looks like Kevin C. He's like your color. My mom is olive skin tone. Look how I came out. You know what I'm saying? So she's right. It doesn't really,
Yeah, but if you come out looking like George Clooney, you can't say you're black.
Okay, I see your point. Okay, I see your point.
Who's that Italian white dude that was on that movie Magic Mike? I can't pronounce his name.
I've
You
never
know who
seen
I'm
the
talking
movie.
about.
I've never seen the
That
movie.
dude
Ask
found out he
Magic.
had.
Magic, you watch Magic Mike. I don't know.
No.
I
I
never
just know him
watched
from
it.
the movie. But he's okay. He's married to who's the lady? It's not Salma Hayek. The other Latina, the hot Colombian one. The one on the show with the mixed family.
Modern Family. She's in
Yeah. So
Modern
what's her
Family.
name? What's the Latina lady?
I know who you're talking about. I forgot
There
her
you
name right
go.
now. I
That dude
forgot.
found out that he has some blackness. Now he's running around here talking about he's black. No, he isn't. He's absolutely not black.
See, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Let me just speak on that really quickly. Like the thing is, like with what the guy was saying just a minute ago, we're not in your way, bro. Like I said, like y'all was pushed into our community, not the other way around. Yeah, a lot of it's going to be some black people that's going to say, "I thought y'all was down with us." That's from hundreds of years of y'all being with us. So that mindset is going to take time for
Why do
that
we have to
mindset
be?
to change.
Why does it have
Let me
to?
ask you
If
a
we
question. Was we pushed in your community or was we accepted? Because you keep saying we're accepted.
But
Which
why
one is
does
it?
it
Are
have
I'm
we?
gonna tell
not
you. I'm gonna
against?
tell you. Wait, hold up, Magic. Let me finish. I'm gonna tell you. You was pushed in our community by white people, and we accepted you in our community
You had no
as being
choice.
black.
You had no choice.
Yeah, and just like you all had no choice, because before then you had your own buffer class until they excluded you from their wealth and created laws to push you
Okay,
into
well then
being black.
stop saying that black people is the ones that had open arms, because it wasn't like that. It wasn't. You came culturally, you came to adapt and to accept us. In the beginning, you were not.
Well, hold on. Wait, first and
He
foremost.
makes a point. He makes a good
No, wait.
point.
First and foremost, are white people giving any mixed people opportunities to represent themselves in media? Are white people giving mixed people any opportunities to represent themselves or their own culture? Anything? No. Your image has been totally represented by black people. So let's keep it real on this.
No. Actually, it's the other way around. Your
Ourselves.
image is being represented by mixed race people. You got it
How's
the other
that?
way around.
How's that?
Look at the
How's that?
media.
No,
Look
that's
at the
actually
media.
no. That's
Okay, you got a
actually
point.
that's
You
actually
got a
true.
point. You got a point. You got a
That's
point.
actually true. Wait,
You got a point.
real quick, because I got somebody right here. Chill Minister, what's going on? Give me your point of view on this whole thing.
How's it going? How's
What's
it
up?
going,
What's up?
everyone?
What's up? What's up?
I just tuned in. So I see the title. It's talking about mixed race. Yeah, basically, you know, I've from my observation, right, I've noticed that there are a lot of biracial people specifically who get pressured into identifying as black, right? I don't know if you guys noticed that.
Yeah,
But
yeah. That's what we're
so
talking. That's what we're
right,
talking about. That's the
right,
main.
right.
Yeah.
So here's my take, and my take is this. This is from my observation. My observation, a lot of the people that are, you know, the main people that have been forcing the black label on biracial people or getting mad at biracial people for not identifying as black are mixed looking people who identify as black. And I'm mainly talking about the ones who are predominantly black, basically what you guys call brown skinned people, right? So, you know, like, you know, the Michael B. Jordans and the, you know, Will Smiths and Ice Cubes and whatnot, with Nia Longs, you know what I mean? It's mainly the people who look like them. They're the main ones, from my observation, that force the black label on biracial people. I don't know. You see what I'm talking about?
No, we get you. We get you. We get it.
Yeah, and I don't. The reason why they do that is because they're mixed looking people themselves. I'm not saying they're the same as biracial people.
Where you from, bro? Where you from? You
Where am
from
I?
England?
Wait, who's asking? Sorry, just asking.
The 18th letter's asking.
Oh, okay. Where am I from? Yeah, I'm from England.
Okay, yeah, your observation is completely off based off of American standard, but go ahead. I don't think you really understand the way America has
Well,
conquered.
I've asked Mrs. Magical, and she agrees with me. Like, she has the same observation. Like, I asked her from your like Mrs. Magical, if you don't mind me asking. From your observation, huh?
Yeah, but you know, Cham, he has a completely different standard of what blackness is versus in America. Does that because our standard, like, we consider people like Michael Jordan, not Michael Jordan, but Michael
B.
Jordan,
Michael B. or Will Smith, yeah.
They're mixed because we do have that admixture here in America. So yeah,
It's
he just has
significant, but
a different standard of what blackness is because he's like
but
straight
either way,
African.
yeah, no, but either way, like regardless of the standard, my point is I'm describing to you the people that I've seen who are the main ones who get upset when biracial people choose to not identify as black. I'm describing to you. I'm saying the ones that I've seen that get upset when biracial people don't identify as black are the people that look like Michael B. Jordan or Will Smith.
Basically, black people that descend from slavery in America are the ones that get upset. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
Africans,
so-called
I
like,
talk to
well,
Africans, they don't care. It does not bother them whatsoever. Like we can have our own identity and still be cool. It's not like, oh, us. It doesn't turn.
That's because
versus
outside of
us
America,
versus
we're
mentality.
considered
Like
mixed.
you got to get rid of this us
Well,
versus
this is the reason.
Yeah, y'all should move outside of America
And
then, because it ain't gonna
this is
change.
No, see, that's what I'm saying. Y'all be sounding like white people, bro. We should just move out of America.
and this is the reason
Nobody
why.
has to go anywhere.
Wait, hold on. And this is the reason why I asked Kevin and I want to ask Rakim. I asked you, but I didn't ask Rakim. Why is it so important for mixed people to identify as black? And if they don't, why does that bother you? And that's the main reason. And he talked about how jumping into their blackness and stuff. So I understand that point. But I see what he's talking about, because it seems like it's like a personal thing, you know, like you don't identify as me. You know what I'm saying? Like why? Like, you feel me? Like I see their point, and I see what they're talking about. So it's like a little like it's not that serious, but also in the same time, why is it that serious? You know?
But isn't it contradicting? Like, if they don't want us to jump
Wait,
out,
okay.
then we say we're biracial,
Okay,
and
hold
they
on.
turn
He
around and be
asked
like,
me,
you're
so let
black.
me, because hold on, he asked me, so let me go ahead and answer this
Yeah,
question.
I never asked you.
Personally,
My fault. I never asked you. Yeah, why is it important for biracial mixed people, whatever, you know, to identify as black?
it's not important at all to me. You can identify whatever you want to identify. My only thing is that, like, first off, most of these mixed people that are complaining are still around black spaces. If we that bad, leave us alone. Go do your own thing and go and build your own culture and all of that other stuff. Because all of these people that's complaining, oh well, white people that never said this and that, that's because you ain't around them. You ain't around them at a large scale. Because most of the mixed people that I've ran across that are in white spaces have always brought up the fact that they are mixed race. It may be, but wait, hold up. Let me finish. It may be behind closed doors, but it gets brought up a lot, which is what pushed them over to their black side and identify with being black. But that part is never spoken about.
I believe that's the reason why certain mixed and biracial people want to have their own space, and they're starting some of their own spaces because of, you know, they're not getting accepted from either side. So they're like, okay, well, screw this. If I have to identify as black, even though I don't want to, and they don't accept me as my white person, fuck it. I'm gonna just start my own space and have.
I'll tell you this real quick, Rat. I'll tell you this. It was just a girl here in Illinois not that long ago who, during Black History Month a few months ago, her white counterparts put a noose around her neck. They was playing with her. She was a mixed girl. And then they say, you know, we drew you this for, we drew you, I forgot, it was a picture of something racially motivated. We drew you this for Black History Month. And then they said something to her about, I forgot. They said something like, well, we're just celebrating Black History Month because only half of you is black, or something like that. So to act
I get it. But also, we have to be real. There are also some black Americans that will say, you will never understand because you light skin. So
it is black Americans like that. Now we're talking about that.
I understand that there are two extremes. I get it.
But the argument that's being made is that we've been the most disrespectful and oppressive towards mixed race people, and it's just not true.
I don't think that's what some of the conversation has been about.
But here, can I say something real quick? Because
wait. Let Magic say. Magic, say what you got to say because we can't hear you. Go say what you got to say.
This whole topic was about mixed race people. You're telling us, oh, we got to leave, but you're here, and this whole topic is about mixed race people. So if you don't, what's the issue?
You must have completely misinterpreted what I said. Hold on. I said if the race relations are more better and everybody identifies as something else outside of the United States, why don't y'all go there or go visit there? Or
Magic, real quick.
Why can't we be respected here in our own home?
No, wait, Magic, real quick. Like, also, to be fair, we were also talking about Black Americans. So I think that, you know, if they want to defend themselves and say give their point of view, I think they should come. You know what I'm saying? But I also see what you're saying. You know, I feel you. But Magic, I know you were speaking. My fault. Say what you gotta say because I want the other people to go.
Magic,
say finish your thought.
now. That's like saying, oh, you got to deal with racism in
Take
America.
it however you want to take it, man. Take it however you want to take it. I don't care. Take it. I
Okay.
mean, if that's how you feel.
All right, so
Wait, Kevin. Let her finish. Let her finish. Okay, we couldn't hear you, Magic. Go ahead.
Yeah. So should we just all stop fighting racism because we got to deal with racism? We should all just leave the country. Like, is that the solution? No, let's fight to be respected here where we live. Because I'm not going nowhere. So that's my point.
Gotcha. I want Tragic J to go because I know he was trying to say something.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out where are we at now on the topic, because it seems like is it resolved or
I don't think that thing is resolved.
Nothing's resolved. So here's where we are on this. This is the initial stages of a conversation that should have actually been had a long time ago. And you're probably going to see some resolution in the next 20, 30 years. And one of the reasons is that you have more mixed race, more biracial people that are popping up. I just saw a white family out today. My wife and I were out, and I saw a couple of biracial kids, not a black person in sight, not a dark-skinned black person in sight. So what I'm saying is that they're popping up everywhere, and that's fine, no issues with that. And then the other part of it too is you're going to have black people actually literally defining what it means to be a dark-skinned black person, only because you got people like Joe Manganiello, who's married to Sofia Vergara, running around talking about he's black or got some blackness or whatever. And black people are going to actually start to define that. So there's going to be a separation here in the next 20, 30 years. So what the biracials and the mixed folks are going to have to do is codify it, because I suspect that black people, the dark-skinned black people, are going to codify it too, to make sure nobody's doing this thing where they say, well, I'm black, but I'm really white. I'm gonna start, and I'm here for the black benefits.
I'm gonna start wrapping it up. So I'm gonna just go down the line. Chill. Give me your last thoughts on this whole topic.
Okay, so regarding what I was saying earlier, I'll be as quickly as possible. So, like I was saying, the reason this is just from my observation, innit? Like, basically, a lot of the so-called black people, again, what you guys call brown-skinned people, right? I'll get into it. Basically, my observation is this: a lot of them are the main ones that like to, that get upset when biracials choose to identify as biracial and choose to not identify as black. And the reason why they get upset, from my observation, is because deep down they have a bias, because it's like if they see biracials identifying as what they are instead of black, then those brown-skinned people, right, they have to look at themselves and admit that they're mixed themselves. Not that they have to identify as mixed, but they are some type of mix. Because, the reality is they usually descend from a biracial parent and a black parent. They are descendants of that. Whether it's recent or distant, that's what they're descendants of. So they have a bit of a bias there. It's like, oh, well, if this biracial identifies as mixed, then I have to identify as mixed as well. Because at the end of the day, real black people, are dark skinned. It's not this light skinned black and brown skinned black. It's dark skin. So my whole point is brown skinned people are the main ones who are upset, not black people, like actual black people.
Gotcha. All right. Thank you very much for coming in. Please
no
don't be
problem,
a stranger.
Man.
Definitely come in and chime in and give me your points of view and stuff. All right. Peace. All right. Rakim, give me your you got 2 minutes. Give me your final take. Rakim. Yo.
I'll go ahead and go while he's getting situated.
Yo, Rakim, you're muted. You're muted, by the way. You're muted and you got your camera showing. I don't want to be showing no. Let me. All right, hold on. I'll just put him in. I put him in the back. I'll put him in the back. Tragic J, you got 2 minutes. Say what you got to say.
I didn't get to see the whole conversation, but from what I've seen, I hope we reached the understanding. The topic is about like whether or not we have our own box, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, so I hope we reach an understanding. Like, I think we should move past the conversation if black people and biracial people are the same race. I think that conversation is old and redundant. We're not getting anything done. Like, it's taken away from things that we could be focused on, which is still white supremacy, like all these other problems. And if we just solidify our own groups, black people, we know what black is, we know what biracial is. We deep down, we all know what that is. So while we're pretending like we don't. So if we all just solidify ourselves, biracial people, what they really should be focused on right now is not getting classified and absorbed by white people. Because if we are our own group, that's what they're going to try to do. They're going to try to classify us as white. They're going to try to do You know, we got our own community problems we need to start worrying about. So this conversation, if we're black or not, is old, and we need to move past that. That's my take.
Gotcha. I agree. I agree with you 100%. You're absolutely right. Shout out to you. Definitely come back to the channel. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
So I'll catch you later. Yo, Rakim, what's going on? You there?
Sorry. Yeah. Sorry,
Oh,
guys.
okay.
I'm getting gas. My bad.
Nah, it's all good. You want me to come back to you in a minute?
No, I'll speak right now,
All
man.
right. Give me your 2 minutes. All right, go ahead.
A lot of people are just, it turns, man, listen, there's a lot of conversations that's being had online, but it ain't no action in real life. A lot of these people, like I say, the people that are complaining the most are the ones that's benefited from being in black spaces because they've had recognition in black spaces. If you really want things to change, go, like I say, get your group together, go among Congress, find some politicians to represent you, and look into what's going to benefit mixed race people's interests within the United States of America. I'm not talking about nowhere else or where anybody else identify as, because at the end of the day, if you're not living there, then you ain't identifying with what they got going on. So if that's the case, like I said before, get together, start, and it is mixed race magazines actually, what a lot of people don't know. That's just for particular mixed race people and different things like that. Get things together. You're gonna have to go up to these white people and say, look, we don't want you to put us in positions where we have to represent black people. We are representing us as our own, as biracial people, and we're not with none of that. And we want laws and different things to change amongst the sisters to include us as mixed race people as our own group. If you ain't doing none of that, you just talking and you just going at an easy argument by, oh, it's everything, oh, black people didn't accept us, even though mixed race people done got more opportunity in black spaces than they ever got in white spaces. So that's all I got to say.
All right, cool. Thank you very much, Kevin. Kevin, see, I'm my fault. Rakim. Definitely don't be a stranger. Definitely come back. All right, please. All right. I'm gonna have Roy Chess. Roy Chess, you got 2 minutes. Give us your scientific breakdown, bro.
All right. So again, I want to stress the reason why these conversations are commonly held is because people are double dipping on some of the definitions and they don't understand some of the definitions. And most of those definitions are from immigrants and not Americans. So you cannot come to America and make up words. I can't do that in your countries. You can't do it in my country. Right. So race is defined biology, not anthropology, not something else, not chemistry. It is biology that defined it. It happened to be a white guy. I put it in the back chat before. Ethnicity is not the same thing as race. You guys are talking about ethnic groups and you're calling it race. So for an American, it doesn't make sense. You have to use the correct terms. Ethnicity means your location, the culture you grow up in, and things of that nature. That's not what race is. Race is totally different from the language you speak, the culture, the food, all that is ethnicity. American has an ethnicity, right? Puerto Rico has an ethnicity. Africa, different countries in Africa have their own ethnic groups. That's ethnicity. That's not race. Dominican is not a race. That's an ethnicity, right? So those terms have to be correctly defined. As Americans, you can't go to an American and just make up your own terms. If you want to create your own group, what would be the point of this if the top class is going to discriminate against you anyway? Right. So, that really, if you want to get rid of the terms, okay, fine, we can get rid of the terms, but there's still going to be discrimination. You're not going to get rid of discrimination. They'll just find a different way to call it.
20 seconds.
Yeah. So thank you for having me. But I wish people get some certain terms right, because Americans don't understand you if you use the wrong terms. Right. So
Gotcha.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, not a problem. Definitely come back. Definitely come back. I got Kevin C. Kevin C, you got 2 minutes. Give me your final thoughts.
Yeah, first of all, thanks for letting me up. And I would just say this: look, at some point, it's going to have to happen. Biracial mix and dark skinned black people are going to have to codify what it is they mean or to be any one of those categories. And it's going to eventually happen because, again, you got white people who are faking blackness just for benefits. And then, that would prevent the accusations or the appearance of, somebody pretending or, race jumping or doing things or all this other stuff and everything else that might look shady and questionable to somebody from that specific group. Black people can't be biracial, and then mixed folks, and then the dark skinned black folks got their categories, and that's how it's going to have to be codified to some extent. It's not there now, but it's going to have to get there. All right. But I do like what Miss Magical is doing. I look at your channel. I like what you're trying to do. She's actually a force for good, and she's actually having the conversations. I think she's doing it in a productive way, from what I've seen. So good for you. Good on you for that, and good on you guys for at least having this conversation, because it's starting and it's going to get there someday. All right,
Yeah.
thanks. And
Thank you.
I'm out.
No problem. Peace. Yo, shit, I gotta get with Magic, and we gotta make more collabs together. Goddamn. Yo, Jose, you got 2 minutes. Give me your final thoughts.
Oh, first of all, thank you for allowing me on your platform. And I'm
No
going to
problem.
go back to my original premise, which is the following. Everyone should be able to self-identify as they see fit. And there's no reason in this God's earth should they need to pick a side. Everyone should be able to self-identify as they see fit. Now, one thing I noticed, it seems like certain people are getting a little bit upset when you have mixed or biracial people expressing their own experiences that they have with certain communities. Okay, if there was a biracial person that had a negative experience with a couple of Latinos, while I may not like it, I have to accept the fact that there is good and bad in every community, and we shouldn't be getting butthurt about it. Well, that being said, oh, by the way, a shout out to all the fathers, and whether it be alive or unalive, and I said my piece and I kept under the 2 minutes.
All right. Thank you very much, Jose. Shout out to you. Toenail Breaker. That's hilarious. I like it. I like that. I like that name. Toenail Breaker. Give me your final.
I held a lot back for me to basically express, and I just couldn't
I
get
know.
into it. I will try to be as fast as possible on
Go
this.
ahead.
Okay. So first of all, what I want to be able to say is, elaborating on what Rakim basically has said before, right? He said that he collected a bunch of information about what mixed race people say about how the white community treated them. He takes that as authentic and labels it, oh, it's checkmark, it's okay, it's got to be true. However, he's against when mixed race people say and complain about how they are treated in the Black community. That's a sense of irony. You can't be for one way and against the other. You have other individuals like Kevin's friend. I know he's not here. I just make him being sarcastic about it. Alama, where she makes basically explicit what chained her off to come to the internet, and which started her whole campaign. And it was her experience that which she had. I didn't get a chance I didn't get a chance to basically to bring that up. Have you saw what she explained her experience, what she had, which is the experience that I've had in the 1980s, in the 1980s when I came here from the Caribbean. This is the same experience that Magic had when Anthony had. Just about everybody who is mixed race had this, but then he doesn't like the idea of how we talk negative in regards to, or he negates it. Let's put it this way: he negates it about our treatment basically in the Black community. The last thing I'm going to come up with is Rochas, what he's came up. Race. Okay. Hey, listen, I know my European history as well too, and I know the English language as well too. I am also to half Anglo-Saxon. That's my mother tongue. That's the mother tongue of us. That language belongs to us, right? So here's the thing about it: race. Originally, the word referred to a person's tribe or ethnicity that they belong to. And by the way, and making words up, which is, I think it was kind of like directed towards me. I'm going to post it here for you inside of there. There is the etymology of the word race and where it goes back to and what it meant among Europeans. Even Europeans, they used the word. It was until modern times that the name changed and they decided to distinguish it from ethnicity versus race. Okay. I'm going to leave that there for that. And by the way, talking about inventing or making words, what's the word Blasian? Where did that come from? Okay, I'm going to leave that there. So you can't say that you can't make up words, right? Because first of all, a lot of the English language words are words that are just newly coined. That's what's beautiful about it. So don't try to police the English language.
You got 20 seconds.
Okay, and I'm done. Thank you very much.
Cool,
I appreciate it.
Cool.
All right.
All right. Not a problem.
Good night.
Good night, man. Be safe.
Neil.
Yo, Magic. We do it again. We always make some history together. You know what I mean?
This is a banger. Okay, this is a. This
It
is one of our
was.
hits,
It was.
okay?
What was it? If anybody wants to clip parts of the show and make a little response, go right ahead. Say
Well, let
yeah.
me
Oh,
get my
you're streaming. You're streaming it through your thing.
Yeah, I'm streaming it
Oh,
right. We're
okay.
co-streaming
Okay.
right now.
Oh, okay. That's
So,
what's up. That's what's up. First of all, give me your final thoughts, and then we'll just get out of here and all that.
so my final thoughts is, we all acknowledge historically that mixed people in America have been used, right? Used for this agenda or that agenda or whatever. So we are done with that. We're not being used no more. We don't want to be used by anybody. We just want to have our own agendas that benefit us. Okay, and that doesn't mean that we're against anybody. Like, just because we want to build something for ourselves doesn't mean I'm taking away from somebody else or I'm trying to be against somebody else. So we got to stop that us versus them mentality all the time, because we can have our own identity and still work with other communities and be cool with other communities. There shouldn't be like a conflict there just because we don't identify the same. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't make sense. And on top of that, us as mixed people, we're done with being erased as well. Like, that's happening in the Latino community as well. Your identities is being erased. So we need to fight back against erasure of our identities, of our history, and to know, so we can truly know who we are. We got to really fight back against that. I'm big on that. Fight back against the erasure of our identities and who we are. So we're here. Yeah. We exist. We deserve to take up space. We deserve to have our voices be heard. We deserve to, have a platform, and we need to speak up for ourselves at the end of the day. So that's all I got to say about that. So, I love this stream so much.
Yeah. With that being said, I'm gonna catch everybody later. Peace.
Bye.